Awia de shima mai da mo ase ye kwoto nkra kakra ekope nso bi no man ekope di so bi fa ya minim yaba na yabai ebra so se yedi enkomo na ansa na no ena no pe menuanu bi ade ato mani kakra nti edu ba bi ya se ka menua osai ena wodi o mame na wotweda ye Auntie Mary Adaijan the friend Auntie Mary sa na yeta frɛ no nti bre no so a ne ya ye beba na ya bebe boawo na yedi umame na wotweda sanso na yinua ba ko ye nana boachi ne yere Doreen enne ye pene korabre ye ja Doreen kwankora nti sabra meka sei okosa kamanya traffic light ni chan ho pe ho na ye yesa ye kasie no. Doreen was just 41 years. Such a beautiful, loving wife. Ti nana boachi anope me ma shede papa pa oni abushani nyina mo na mi fo e ma mo ni adwuma se makota ye nua nachi yenso ye wiedie ye bia abrepa mu ya ba beboa sanso na me ma me anti ajewa onso sofo se yire anti ajewa sofo se nso ekwa ye ya ode twa mu yi ene ekope no krabre wo kwawu pepiase nti ne liberty eho na liberty eho na yetena na yede ye osofo senso yede na yi nti anti ajewa no pay ma shedin pa mi wi dem ye bia so a kwa bia so ne nyina bebeboa ne de jewu man kwan kra sanso na former chief of staff Julius Debra ono so ne nua bema no se no ye na yi ti honorable Julius Debra bibia wo bia no pay so me ma shedin papa ewie de ye bia asambedi kankan no bebo ehumodin ne aba beboa se ye wo yi eyenkujankuja ti na eno no eni je samba ko sunyan say Passion Air Force almost start omoba I think on the 19th of this month na Passion Air Force start ekusunyan from Accra to Sunyane, from Sunyane to Accra. That is wonderful. Nti Passion Air Force damase Sunyan for yenso yate de kakra ye beba she say the na be ntia 8 hours 10 hours na yadodo she say the passion na wona waduru ho no nti na eno no nti na no pay se me di kankan na ne nkoma yebedie no for Auditor General's report and someone na ewumu ye hwe de Fatima forecast on to won na amanfo so mu pa se na cast na sitie eni se do mu si to no no na se bisa won ho kakra ya ye bisa se won mu mfom so be na mu ye se otonfo ni ho a otofo ni ho na otofo a de oton no onu ni made ne bo nti so de je bo pa onyamfaso wafa je bo pa oboka nti ebre ye dane cast na ma wo mu no ye hwe se de adwaman so ne bo ne tie ena ye de to nsania so ekeri hwe ye ansa na ye gyamu de ama wo mu ana eno achi ese mema mrantie ne mema miensa ye chom over 1.1 million Ghana cedis 1.1 million Ghana cedis nipa 3 ana information kura no yen sent to me enkai nti eba ne sign na finance ministry etu twese sika ma se ankrofo no wo bra wo mun krata sem ne wo mun nema ebedue dia dance se me agya Kwabena meti hei ade na me mantua me kan mu amam bi ade na me amam bi na ko nipa 3 penchen no ba ko tumi nya 300 over 300,000 Ghana 3 billion kan sika na ghost name ye be say ghost no kwa hefa no won ye hu na ya che no once and for all owahi enti the whole finance ministry etime twa sika sade ha nipa 3 pe o John kuma se sika na yaje ewahi mo aje sika na wahi wahu na mo de hu krata ba kire oh ye je ye no ye ji ni sei na enu nie said ya moto de press release eto social media no na mo decide kana mo gye say ya moto ye say omo de ba no paying slip o say hwan no the document bi na say paper bi e fa ho a kire say mo matua no na mo da beto ho ne ahwe ni ne kese ya John Kuma kuri ya na kan say yen ko IMF e parliament after 2 weeks yen ko IMF nti ama me o ka me nyi ni papa enti ye behwe ne akasasa mu no so na fe no achi atemu afonsem sem ya ye man pani dada mahama so aka sem bi e de afo mo se e ka me se ya temu ekuo no wo mu din ya sei omo ya agi din bone ama omo ho nti ho behia se tumi hwe ye ho bibi na chief justice ti say ko yie ne ma ko se de se ko ye wura kan da pa kan say me about justice delivery ho ono national security minister ne samo kan ye ho ene research ahodo a ekuku ahodo bi aye e de fa gidi aye wo o ya temu adwuma no mu ti anu so ehusam ati say ye bidi nkomo enu akoto electricity ya tum ehase enene na nsa 27.15% ene ye de aka ho eni ti hye no so pa water nso ya tum 21.55%. Enti ye nyina mohoden ene yensuo ya tum fan nso same ebi ye 5 to 10%. Esa na be kono enti ye bi sese utumi etua sese ne be eduru no nti economics na se oye sese se msumi economics na ebi dis an common pa na ye di ba ko betumi afọ ye se mampani se no ye hwe na ye educational system no ye nyina ye to adwene fanfa ho adi ntina mampani kasa ebi no kasa enye review ama review no kasa review ne cancellation ncho no review no nko ena obi so de oka nko ene kuku bi ahodo bi mfu ehwehwe mo ma ye no fa review no academian CSOs even churches sorry painful bi akasa say ye hwe ne review ye education system especially free senior high no enti mampani can holistically say ye hwe ye review from crèche up to university level and now say free senior high no na ye be hwe kan ho asam and say see ye be giatum so okay ye be review free senior high no abe say ya kan o kan ye say ye mpene na say ye be say ye enti no ye nya holistically ana san komo no so wo ye say ye dipa enti ene mene Azubila Emmanuel Abdul Salam ye executive secretary de ma Anchoring Democracy Advocacy Movement Ghana wo mchen wa ha enti mene be hyase obra ya sompa ene wo maka Geoffrey Kabute Okanse ne wo maka no e ba be kan ye ho na fe ye de ahyehye so enti Azubila akwaba
ye mo pani beje so
bibia boko
dem yadom
de radiase ma ye hyase mfa mfiri electricity ni yensu nsem ho esi kasa yi electricity has gone up by 27% and our water so is about 22% yen kan sa baby no kra kasa sa percentage omode maye no wo hwehwe mu a is more than 27.5% 15% no and it is wo hwe tariff ya to so ene adwumayefo se de akeso etie any the way a niema bo esi ekosoro me kan ya no pay na say ena okoto ade ne 10 cities o chena beko na 15 cities e bia de bia mton 42 cities na nko bisa na 60 cities 18 cities no mo de atoso meaning say ade ne bo no kwa na ekosoro say bibia be duru nie e de na beka fa ho
yo Agya Kwabena me da se amaya kwanya na me ba mamfo se me ba me nchia o me hwe workers your platform na obi ase okwa chi Agya Kwabena maye se obo edwuma pa
that's it
na ma me fanchi ansonko so fama oma mo hwe ya no pa yi ene edwuma efo ne Adam GH yeti members nyina na openi sama asema okan ye asema in fact serious ye hwe especially yen aye workers aye wo oman mu ha utility tariffs ya e ba ye ene ehun sunsuanso de ye se ye kan ho asema ye wie nde me no okay say o hwe from January to September year fuel price and quite increase over 40% against the workers salary. Now see can other the high cost of goods and services or jomo den e na woni ma de ba ko a eye asefem kese eye cola ya omode maaye woni mi se cola ne ba ye no omo introduce omo increase income tax by 15 to 18% secretly I will be any
income tax o ma increase no 15 to
18%. O man kan chiro bia. E ba ya nsa na eje pay slip. Na hu say na wo am 15%. Hwe January to September. Enema cost over 40 to 50%. Now why increase wa my cola. Ni ente o my cola ne say cost of living allowance na yen to me engina no biem. The na asetena na ye akwese jinsim na ba se de bebe dru de ma me pay 15% mi fa ma mo na mo fa nkusi me ho na 15% na mo introduce ye no omo the income tax I increase by 15 to 18% secretly e ba ya eji pay slip so na hu se na de na bayi na che se na media na ya tum by 15% cola ba workers ho ato mo fa kosi ha na emom edwumayini be ka kire se ahokyere edwumayfo fom isi ampo na ese bibia ne yewo na ade ba ko a eye issue any sa electricity tariffs here abai so okeka water and what do you call light iboma eye 49% against edwumayini market here. Now unim say anytime I to electricity boma na say nsuo bomu bia no emma businesses production because nsuo ne light a driver for if anything any production samo wa hanan kamo produce product bia then ya wan use electricity we use nsuo
sure
enti se etu nsuo mu a na ne e kire say enya se nsuo no nko na wo nom ana se nsuo na wo sadware ofie no nko na wo kotu omotu ama na mom even ade obeto odwom bia ne bo obekɔso because the nsuo na ye the electricity na ye enti sa ne ma we nyina wo keke sie ne otimi hu say what is happening now ade ache say yenhu ne abaye na sa deceptive ekoso efa controller na accountant general no edwumayefo ye say ye ni nje ho
enti ye 50% income tax awo kan wasem say ya to mu no normally no say aban ebetu income tax ne ma titi say mu a da the public emu bi atumu hu say ye betum say enhihye ben na wo ho ansa na natumi aba
me da say ohun say omoko tripartite committee anaso omoko kan sa kola ihun semi agreement eba ye ne say tax free kola ne de ye nti tax bia ho because cost of living allowance enye aketwentu mu nti eno no na nka nti tax nemo oma increase tax no secretly edi aba amma che say omonam na afriwe de edwumayefo anya kola Agya Kwabena 2023 ayekoyi se tripartite committee so omo ntumi antu edwumayefo aketwem over 30 to 40% no worker can survive in this country.
We can say a cola 50% no. Almost to income tax secretly. And do you want it's income tax to quite a sumase no say the opachire no. See sumasia. E ka cola no ana say ye sika bia botenam wo no na e ka wasa wana say e ka no ana say cola no so e ka ne bi.
Ana say cola no ene waketua wogini nyina no
ya kan bom
e kan nyina enti wo twa sa income tax o ma introduce ya sa wo se wo ye calculations ye mfa se cola na 11% che se o ma sniki article na so e de e dey akwese tax mu but Oma na so obi ate ama control the time case adwumayefo e bo fu control accountant general na say o say what decide we buy ya na or publish ye say omo spend 485 million edi tuama edi tua kwela magana adwumayefo Agya Kwabena omo 2 article 71 office holders aketuam omo publish ma ehu sika omo de tua S Gracia from 2017 to 2021 omo tuama manfo omo publish ye Kola nkwa de na publication na mabonse you spend 485 million Ghana cedis.
Say enu e say mamuhu.
Say SGS so say ehu. Article 71 office holders omo two market to by 79% no. Yen na taxpayers omo mpo no ntua tax. Nti ye na etua tax. Hwe so omo de 15% kola ba ya omo tie tax no. Article 79 office holders omo je 79% tax free 1% per year omo ntua. Omo de na won publish ba de o de ekre ba ya na publication na bonten enti wo se ne ahokyere asi cost organ ha especially Ghana nyumayefo na yesre TUC ye mpese ye group no ye na omo nsan kotana do awoma so from next year January ekobiem omo tripartite na se omo anya anything above 30% e ma omo nye omo meka nche ye as workers see e ka so omo nkwaje na makwaje
na ya ho odin wo ho e betumi de nya 30% 40% okay
Agya Kwabena eka ahode paade a ye wa ahode e bro so
really
ne
so all this covid system e wo mu in Russia and Ukraine war yi economy a say we are seeing na pandemic amana e basa yi
Agya Kwabena
yes sir
I would say eba covid na enka nipaku anka Ghana fo nyina mo nsama omo e Ghana nyumayefo ya tuma kire leadership ya tuma kire odo a ewo ye man say 2 years with the 2 years aketu ntumu bo ma 11% 4% and 7% identity covid-19 na wo hwe ahokira ye famu samre no even covid-19 mrempo na fa nema bo ekosoro fuel prices ba ye de yaketu ni gina ho no ma enti ya sacrifice even at that time sacrifice eje to 4% and 7% no article 71 office holders in 2020 edge 79% enti na ye kan say ye dwumayefo ye show leadership ye kan obi a odono manya article 71 office holders omo no Ghana enu pempenso a ye dwumayefo ye do Ghana no nti ya sacrifice enough enti wo 79% ya omo ejima omo hu ama 4% and 7% enti say ye even 40% posisi a e de kan ho a en say because and do even half of ni omo je enti eba say the country can pay or not no we have sacrificed enough and looking at sir even kola we dey amaye say yes team survive ya wo san e de tax ashim na ye decide we ko December before we read December make sure inflation this year 31.7 ye we read December one share enam almost 40 to 50 na 2023 na make ko wura no so am me aketu ntumu over anything 30% and not 40%. How can we survive? Ye January 2023. So yes, the ma TUC. Any organized labor and penny for this time or no a jaya de betu omo so na enye jaya jaketwa. Omo kotra apartheid na e manem ko 18 nom anase envelopes jijebia omo ko fight for the workers interest. And workers interest they say we are not taking anything less than 40% in 2023. Looking at the sacrifices we have made so far.
Okay. And see, obi so bisa say yanje na wo so je na so no so ni a meji mini hwana de hwana ebe yi.
Aban entu edwumayefo akatwiem. E wo omo pesoda. Wo hwe na esi na nsi yi. Strike. A teacher for kan so omo classroom edwumayefo de omo tools to ho. Aban penimfo be pa acho. Enti meji na wo se mintua me so de me de ma wo na meji na me mfa ma wa na se ene obi ankita na de.
Okay.
Anti ene manko classroom na manko edwuma hospital ya anko ene omo fa efe say article 71 office holders na one increase omo de to 79 no. Ye mfa omo hospital na omo sa yare ne efe say classroom no omo kira de. So baby aduro no ya de ato anibre.
Me da se Jeffrey be kamensa na fe ya sompanso aba Jeffrey kwaba bibia boko e de radias ya bibia boko
me avenyi nyame na adom na so
adomara kwa anwaka Jeffrey na you din come about petrol nyina mohoden ya to 27.15% and insu anu so ya to 21.55%, the most 22% no na yɛnhwɛ adwumayɛfo nso akatua sɛ de sitie na yɛmfa ntoto sɛ de ɔman mu no nyina sikasɛm esi ɛkɔ ɛne adeɛ kyi adeɛ sɛ nyinaa no nneɛma bɔkɔ ana ɛkɔ soro nti sɛ nneɛma bɔkɔ ana ɛkɔ soro bi ma budget sɛ ebia kamede bɛyɛ 2000 Ghana cedis ɛna bɛtotɔ efie nneɛma ɛna nneɛma metumi de 2000 ton asɛm de amede bɛyɛ 1000 ka ho asɛm metumi atotɔ sa nneɛma no anyina ma hode so yase ato ni bodum ti sanka me ton 1 week 1 month say me to 300 say say almost 400 nti sika na me use no kwa na kosoro me wade ye de ma me no so no e kwa na esi say no ye ne say
Jacob na mama ma wetiefo nyina good morning na ahonchire we na ye komu no me gin say Ghana hai na ma adwin ya ha me sa na me tu kwan be say 5 days ago me call Nigeria na me say me call Nigeria me call Shoprite say me call to ejuane wo me hwe ejuane ne bo e wo Nigeria na me hwe ne bo Ghana ha me re ho ye me bisa ma me ne say o ye sure say onye mistake ana o say onye mistake ejuane o brodo ene chicken ametoye no price na meton wo ho no ene de meton wo Ghana ha mere hoye te say ye economy no yesika sem no ho na me hu say atochi mapa
o kan sa say no mo de no board nchen de na say de board nchen mo
ye de no board nkura cha mo de no brudu na meto ha coconut bread na meto ha sa meto na board wa meto na ne bo no wo fom meto chicken no so wo na ne bo wo fom ti na me hwa metum se ye kofom pa na wo hwe aketia na wo ka no aketia ne gina ho se minwa be ma eken enso e ka na wo ka se petrol ka no na ekostro electricity dey so na ekostro na sa niam ya wabobo we no eye niam a ontimi nka se wo de unyusu se ka e ba ye ne koye ka bia ye se o omo a omo beko se omo konum bie ana Guinness ena bie kro sa bie ne cost no se ne bo no kosoro a ena obetuma ka se we giant sa no eno kra de ke be boa ye e se sa NCDs friend non communicable diseases we eno ansa we ni escalate nsem ena de beba na sa niam no obetuma ka se ompe ba we mu ye needs niam a wo hia ensuo nyinam kanea petrol unika e kra obetu kwan nia obewa beto aduane a ebedi nkra obekokọ aso akofa aba so de ya na ode kai na beko na saa petrol ne bo kosoro pe na tie se saa niam nyina bo ebekosoro na sika na ye aketua no se ye ka se minimum wage se aban sika ode betua obi a o fom kura no o hwe dia oje a na ma ye re fin so se obi mu so ye casual workers obi wo so na ketua ne krapo ne de ne kiti kra ye tia Ghana ye tia nkofo 1000 obi so o krapo ye tia no be 600 nti sasika kitwa no ono so no ogi ni na ketua ni wi a ye nka se o eduane we ana nyamkania we eska ehiafo betua se ena eskafo betua se bibia bia ye bia no okoye bia e ka ye beji no eno a na ye be den ye beji aban so a okọ hospital se ye ji 100 so we card ye beji 100 Ghana ono so sa na ye be den ye beji ono so bi nti se oba nka nkontabuo no mo bon se de bia da no poverty gap a kire se kwan da ohiani ene skeni ntem no bia na mu bie utie mi nwa be ma o pa kire se nkofo bi nkura po aban aketua homa so a omo je skebi efren S Gracia obi wa ba be mu wa be a member of parliament en fie 9 obekofi a teacher ni a wa kira de be say in fie 20 years fie duonu okofia na ama fridge kitwa bi so sei na ye de ama no enso obi ba abam ebe edwuma mfie 9 pe a okofia kai kesia esi ya efre no Land Cruiser ye de mana ne boa ye de be mano no ne ate so se jem enu se sika no bia ye de amano anu no na ukọ saa insemsem mu a obi a kire se sika akitua na ye de mano no ejina faako enso saa ne ya oke nyina ye friend essential services eniama ubehia nsuo nyinamkania ene eduane saa niama we mu nyina no ne bo no ekwa na ekosoro asemba ko eka ho ne se ye tetere ma we ye taste se Ghana fo no niama ye pese ye di no wonim se Jacob na de bia mba mbesu wa akire wo se ukoye jom sesia na ema no so ka ho bio na omo pae se nam we enye Ghana nam Abidjan
Abidjan dia
aden ye sa
na enye Abidjan dia so ampa
na tomatoes ampa pa enti na make say tetre ma iso eyiye ma ye wo hai ubon ye si tomatoes we dia we Burkina enti ne bo no wo soro se Ghana de no na ka unim udi mi dem no krapo a wo de saa niama na eba mi dem ebe sa mi dwa no ka uton si a ye to mi de no krapo a na ka ya bo enim kakra enso ye ka say no ye Burkina de enti no ne bo no e wo soro e che Ghana de enam isu gunsuo yi mu wa ha ai ba ko se bi nyame ne ondo ya che yenko yi nam ni bi embawi a ye se we de Abidjan dia nti saa ye taste ye tetere mai a eyi ye mai e kire se ubeko amano ne akofa saa nyame yi aba ne bo no wo soro nti ubehia dollar na odi akoto wo de dollar ikoto na odi ba na che se ne bo na ye de akonenim
ene CFA franc kra no sifa no I think say 15.5
na dollar ne pound de che so brim o mu brim cedi ni sa dollar ne pound de o mu brim cedi ni sa nti che se cedi ni de from ano de okofom nti se ukọ chanya ma ewu na che se e ka no eduane na ebedi ni kura no e ka na de akosoro niama mienu bi na edi nanim emo ene poultry chicken akokọ na mi ye yiba wanu sa nti obehin sika dollar o de be de ba akoto saa ne edwedi a ye nya balance of trade be ma esika no kwa na ekofom nti se ufa eduane bi a ode Ghana de etoto amano ne de ho na o se ye de ne de enye papa uba goto amano ne de a na che se niama ye be eduane na make you me ma petrol me nko nyinam kane na o kan ho petrol de ye sei ye tu fa anwo ha enso ya na emse so mpa be ni calculation bi no akire ya se ya me de madwene ho saa se eye den na 2007 ye hu se ye betu fa anwo ene ye ko tu ye dreship etwene ye se ye ton enti ene no fa anwo no ye tu Ghana ha mom de ye cha fa no so krapo ebo ye se ye de bapo guto ne ya dan no na ka ye de aba Ghana gadwani mu a eno de ka nko fa ship enfa nko fa petrol no ema ha ka to ha ya na ebe no su de bia to wo ho fa anwo no ye tu wi a Ghana che fa ketwa no krapo no enwura to eno so ne yaton nti na aha na yete no to na ewo no mfidie ni nye dwuma nti na de bia no ye de fa ngo no fi ha ebekọ obi ma so ansa na omo de afa akwan bi so omo wie a na omanya petrol e de aba na omo beto na bodene amaye sa nsihye no nko aso ka ho bi na petrol de bia na ekosoro eno so mfa nchen no petrol no ebedu kroma levies a to bi mu a aban de to so no eno so ka ho bi na petrol no ye de ekosoro na nyinam kane a ho no ma menka kakra fa ho edema omudi efa sa omudwuma ho no ECG edema odi e pa no wonim se amfie bi twemu no omokoto bita bi bae a mita nyina be burugu anya edwuma eno mfantie nso no mita ni bi mo omokoto bae no nso no na mita no esa se anya edwuma nti de kakese bi ebeto ye so ECG nika eda ho no koji sika na kobrane eyi power no de ye edwuma wi a koji bre a ukọ aban aso a bebre a onwuntua aban no a oye maame na nkasa maame no ne nkwala ntifie no ono no ye no aduane ni wi a ye se nyina yi bi ne fa ye aduane ono de ontua bi enso ono che aduane aban mu adwumafo atim ubekọ no he upa ukotwem wo ministry so ahwe air condition ebitimi si so se gen ekosi nyumre ebi esi so saa na ekosi nyumre enso ukoye na okoka kire om se hwe si aye ni ebrewe ekosi brewe no 5 ya pon adwuma obi andum air condition yen kofie kebe adwuma saa nyama no beboa obi wo kra pot mitina aban so aye ono a na adwuma ono na disua bi ana paper bi obe print no a print sa enyinam kane a omudi adwuma nyina no yen ne yetua ma omo nti uba enyinam kane a ona sika no kra po ni gige onim se ebi mu ukọ ebi mu efie a omu yusi enyinam kane a we a omu ntua esese ECG fo no eden onko ho no mu ko he se papa we o meter nhyase no meter ben potina enemi ne wo ka sei da de ebi ne twa no me kwa aba eno ewe bi mu fie fiti Rollins apen so ebe se ekọ president Kufu apen so a yesesa sambita ebe si ne mi twa me ho ewo nkofo bi mu fie enti de me kira won se obi wo ho a ono no busim ni sias no eden ye ba ko man ka asako di etie se odika nti won betia enso me ne o ye de card ne ye koto enti sankofo a mu wia nyinam kane a nyina no a o mu timra so no sankofo nyina o mu ka ene ye chema me ne wo no so tire me jaka me se nyina ye edu ene ye te Ghana ha ye be se nkofo be se edu na ye wa no ye yusu nyinam kane no ebi mu ewie bi a o mu de o mu nchi akra o mo be se ensia miedu bi wo so o mo de ye kai omu yusi saa akoya bitwa me ho abanti no ono no eka no wabobobo so saa beguo se ebi wo ha no akotu ebi ebi wo ntu ebi eno so wo ho mo de ka no so wo enti saa grofo nyina edem omu di eni eka no beda ho a mimi ne wo de se de enye de nkrama ECG ne se omu kotena se ebu nkonta na eka na aba no no ma be cha ma me ne wo a ye de wo so a ye di mra no so no ne ye de abeso ayen nti saa nyama we nyina wo ansa na ebe ba se ye beka se aketua no nso no aketua no gina faako no na eka we mu nyina e ba behia wo nti se aban amma so de a na che se wo de 1000 a oje a fiti be me fa se busumi dumienu na 1 year wo de scan bia ambeka ho enso eka we mu nyina agane fa ho nti de na wo sika no kofom
ebinimu ka say regulation of market prices regulation. For instance, am I who the train when she Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, wo mo ka nyina no almost COVID be come Ukraine Russia talk be come but wo mo nyama bo enhwiri nkoso gidigidi said ye ekoi adita ye de ne de akwa say obi atumi koto ade ne ba oton said ope no ade a for instance lubricants and lubricants akwa adin esan say o budget so the $50,000 na kokofa ne manaba oba duty baby abenfa be $15,000 no de yi ene se na dollar no adro ni ntino se anke bi odin 90,000 ena be yi a so or almost 180,000 for 160,000 ena kokoy addition of 70,000 abebe ka ho aso otumi akwa kokoyi ne niam no so akaport e ho saa na afia kokoy se so forso a no koyi a obedane cost no adema the consumer and now you can say 1 ton of iron rod about 400 Ghana cedis and abeka cement ebi nam 73 cedis ebi nam 70 cedis ebi nam 65 cedis ade na hwiri koso gidigidi amaya wo de twa ehwo hye wo mo de antisa ade na Ghana hanko ade ye wo sati bia no
Jacob Robert Kasi a misu am de brel se a Nigeria de ya mi ko hu ye se nyame adom Shoprite ono Shoprite na no wo Nigeria ho no e no wo Ghana ha se a wo kan ye eye den e na oton brodo no e ma me ye fa na se 10 cedis e na Nigeria de oton mo 8 cedis se ka ye obibi e fe no consumer protection a mu ye den e wo Ghana ha pa che se ye a ye bedi ana ye be ye de nyama na wo beton ama ye ne de be yaade bi no enti ye be ne ubedi dwa no se kan ye wo Ghana ha no ye wo sa biaye na ye be ka se o akwanya we enti ne ba betena pono ne ye ne wadi nkita ho o se 10 cedis de bi kromo afo e de ye beto no 7 cedis na ka sa edwade ho nkita ho die ne ko ne nim kakra ke be boaye pa ba si a o kan so o de eto ho asem bi bam se ono so okoyi sa nya ma efi port no e ka ye de ma no ɛna ɔno so oyi ka na ama yɛn a yɛfrɛ ya ebedi saa aduane na yɛde saa ka ɛho dadeɛ yi bɛyɛ adwuma na ɛno kyerɛ sɛ wohɛ saa nkuo yi a ɔmo di dwa yi a yɛfrɛ ɔmo guta ɛne nkeka ho na nkae na ɛka ho na ɔmo yɛ ɔmo kasa ne ɔmo adwuma yi ɔmo kɔ ɔmo nim yi na ɔmo tena ase a de bia ɔmo ka sɛ ɛka na ɛwɔ port hɔ no enti na yɛ den ɔmo so ɔmo yɛ den ɔmo yi ka na ma yɛ enso ɛnyɛ sɛ esi ni saa sɛ yɛgye otoɔ bi na oso de saa nneɛma yi ba kɛɛ sɛ yɛtimi hu sɛ amano no yɛtɔn ne sɛn sɛ yɛtɔn ne 10 cedis a ɔbaa no uyi yɛ no ɛka he ɛna ɛbɛtɔ so yɛntimi nkyerɛ wo sɛ kɛn ne kɛn tɔn no ma 15 cedis ɛnso sɛ yɛhwɛ mu na wokɔtɔ no 10 cedis ɛtoɔ no so kɔyɛ bɛyɛ sɛ 2 cedis na akɔyɛ 12 cedis na wode ebi bɛka ho na wokɔtɔ ama yɛ na akɔ pie bɛyɛ sɛ 25 cedis a yɛ sɛ adeɛ nankasa kora po a wokɔtɔ yɛ no about 300% ɛna wopɛ sɛ woyɛ den wonya so mfasoɔ yɛ sɛ mfasoɔ na wopɛ sɛ wonya no atera saa biaeɛ na ɔmo ne ɔbɛfrɛ no aka kyerɛ wɔn sɛ o kuo wei mo ne mo nkurɔfoɔ no ndi nkita ho yɛ me sɛ mo ka no ɛyɛ akɔsoro kakra nti yɛn di ho nkita ho no saa nneɛma yi yɛ saa nneɛma wei a ebɛtumi ama ɛka na ayɛ den aba fam ɛnso yɛ ha no yɛayɛ ne sɛ free market nti kyerɛ sɛ obi na wakɔtɔ na adeɛ ɛna ɔno ɔso ɔtɔ no buo sei ɛna ɔno ankasa no ɔba kurom a no ɔpɛ sɛ ɔtɔn ne sei nti because of ɛtoɔ na yɛde ato so no ntini na ɔma fa ho ayɛ den ɔtɔn opa tɔ opa agyae na onim wei no aban ɛbɛyɛ ne kyɛfa sɛ aban ɛsɔre ɛyɛ ne kyɛfa na timamufoɔ na so wokae sɛ Kofi Kapito ɔma ne ho so no afrɛ ne kuo bi kakra ne nkurɔfoɔ kakra sɛ yɛfrɛ bi consumer rights sɛ yɛ a yɛtɔ adeɛ no yɛso yɛwɔ rights bi sɛ yɛbɛka sɛ yɛbɛtɔ anaa yɛntɔ saa akwanya no sɛ Ghanafoɔ no yɛfa saa akwanya no sɛ debi sɛ wadeɛ nsuo yi a wotɔn yi wobɛtɔn no 10 cedis okay tɔn watɔn na tɔ adeɛ ɛnso wohwɛ mu a challenge ni competition sɛ ɛfa no sɛ yɛwɔ special water yi a yɛtɔ yi wohwɛ ne packaging ne boɔ no a yɛbɛtɔ obi ba sɛ ɔbɛtɔ nsuo yi ama 3 cedis a menyɛ sure sɛ ɔbɛtɔ ɛnti sɛ competition wɔ hɔ a kyɛ sɛ obiara ɛtɔn bi na mewɔ akwanya sɛ mɛka sɛ mɛtɔ wei a na mɛtɔ wei no sɛ saa akwanya no bebree bɛtɔ m'anim a nea ne bɔ wɔ fam no na matɔ
akɔ sɛ sim card
saa
ebiri bɛ betwem kɔ na ne bɔ de to time bi afi sisi o ka 1 cedi
ya na opɛ sɛ oma abanya asɛm o
ade
ana sɛ enye ne yɛde kɔ Vodafone time na yɛyɛ spaceful ɔde ne deɛ ba ya ɔsɛ 345 na aban deɛ 1.2
million saa time no ade krampo bɛtɔ a yɛ me bi sɛ bisa okra no
awmachi na yɛ bisa ɔsɛ ɔma mete wo papa tu kwenda bɛ yɛ bisa ɔsɛ anya
me bisa ko ahwɛ a wo sɛ ɔde bansa
saa nti na yɛ tɔn chip nko asa no na spaceful watene deɛ so sɛ yirem saa time na 345,000 against 1.2 million the difference no we dey brand ne dey ase no nya chip ni bebree begu ni dem saa time na oyɛ saa de no e be si ne abanja ni dem ma Vodafone crapo Vodafone adwuma wayɛ ne na ho de ba nyina
amfa
adenti a saa edwa ɛka yɛ de to no we si me dey metime de so na ma de atwe nkrofo omu di meti a me de ombɛkɔ da ɛno akiri no wo bɛhu sɛ competition ba mu no omu yɛ saa enso omu ntumi ambetra NTN na yɛfrɛ no NTN yi ɛnso so de bia da no ɔmo baa mu ni nti no NTN no so ɔwɔ saa na wayɛ dɛ wabra bibi ase ɔbɛka kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo free unit ɔbɛka kyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ nti saa competition no so ma yɛ a yɛtɔ adeɛ no so nya saa ntesoɔ no na ne krakra no paa ne sɛ yɛ etimamufoɔ no yɛ etiman wɔ mu no yɛ adwene baako na consumer rights sɛ yɛfa no sɛ yɛn so yɛwɔ faawo deɛ bi sɛ adeɛ wei ma yɛ ntɔ na ɔtwe baako pɛ wobɛkae abrante bi afrɛ Nico Joboni na ɔyɛ osu hene tama colonial masters no wɔ ha no na yɛne abrɔfo no di dwa no ɔmo na ɔmo sɛ wonim bibi adeɛ baako a yɛde bɛko tia obroni ɛne sɛ yɛntɔ ɔmo nneɛma saa strike na ɔmo ka sɛ ɔmo ntɔ ɔmo nneɛma no ɛsɛ ɛde nsesae bebree ɛbaeɛ nti sɛ ɔhwɛ na nneɛma na yɛtɔn ma wo no ana adwa na yɛdi no obi sisi obi a nya obeya ne se ontobio me nka se wobeka se ontobio na che se de bia na waye e obre bi kitwa bi a wode be den wode be twe na adwene aba so se ofa agya na ye di no usimi ana usimi ache yen ye ne sei de bia wobeto so bia no yen kodi hu kita ho eno na ye de PURC ba mu no na de bia PURC omuso mu ye omedwuma o so me o afutu kakra ma omo nia eye problem na nkasa na nye se enyam kania na ECG ene independent power producers no eka no yenti ase o yeti ase se niama esesa crude a fa ngono mo de edwuma niama nyina ne bo kosoro kakra ye wo ka kire mo ne se ye na ye to ade na ye use no ye 1000 ene ye use ya ye na ye tua no ye no so ne e asefo ma ha adwene kra ne se omo a omo ntua no omo no mu use no kese ti se aban so e bia o use power yi ono generator no me say generator air condition ni dey so yi ye dey obi Kwabena obi a oni air condition ni bi kra oni fie obi wa oso ne dey kakra a ode dey ode behwe fie na ode esua dey na ode bi aye adwuma kakra na machine ode pam dey kakra ipe na ode yo enso aban so abi ebe use nyankane dey bia na esiso dey bia yanko diska na yese o dey bi ebi ni o mo pa mundum eye den na bia bi say airport ma se mi wo nti ende ma menka nisisi a airport ya me fa ho me ko fa through plane yesi mi ntia covid 350 ya jeme makotu ya aye test me betu play betu 1 hour to play ebetu no yesi e ka bi da o me ntia 79000 naira bro more than 1000 cedis na me kwa me test mi nu wo me enjinamu wa na obi anka kire bi o mi betu kanti na chese magic and omo expect say me magic
o say no o airport na so tu kwan na o tia 300 and say
na me tia 350 e
350 I covid test wo airport wo
airport ya
na o ko Nigeria so
me ko through plane na airline for na ka say me tia 79000 ni nyina o me phone so 79000 naira inti na chese say me magic no wo ho a na me de me card fe bushim na mu yi sa scan film me through plane go do Nigeria for no je me Ghana covid no omu jije me so oga kam oga ene ni je na me dey o mkrum me we hotel na me ye 2 test na me je me results ni na da me be ba Ghana na ma je second results no PCR test o nti na we didn't expect Sunday e go do Wednesday no na ma PCR test me ensa me kwa na me through plane e wa Nigeria no omu me we say na omu phone so no omu de fa fidie so no oga why did you do to omu di say omu crap na omu ra ho me say my 3 nko me say de ma me phone play na me mbre me bedu mi chrome Ghana mi chrome o baby e wo me no me bedu ha no abrante akito bi bagina me nima o say o ma of frontiers na say ma nye ma say me say antigen test $50 TMO antigen test no we are nyina anya me na America o we are nyina yenim say PCR test no was so antigen test my PCR 3 in the space of 4 days and no the antimi omo negative no mama me no an kire nyansa ogina menim e ka kire me say me ntua $50 na o ma me wura me krom ntimi so me ya me hwehwe me pese me nya na fa Jeffrey ho e fa Ghana fo ho ntimi gina ho omo ma me gina more than 4 hours me were pictures wa me ma guard me be try pictures na me kire o si Ghana ni e be di aro o ti me twen ye $50 na me ntua ni ntino 59 something no me call down okot na na me yi me laptop na me tell say me yi adwuma ye bo be say 12 something no na all officials no bi akoda e am from camera anko night workers no ebi kita we say what do you call it mattress makoda me nkwa na meteo na metimi asori afam bag na me ko enso ma anye me dim na so etena ase me ye adwuma sa me about 2:45 am na me say na say yo ba be say bia tafra che why sa bra bi na ne ho hia na obi a obefa aduro bi na me yare bi wo me so a nti o mo jame ete ho na me ye me dwum say about 2:45 na me ko fresh kit ba ko say sika na etia na eje ne he o say o mi nko soro ho baby ti mi am ko try me e bobo pon no bi sa na abrante ba ku pie no de me ko abayiwa na obeji sika no na me de me card no ma no no jiska no wo jiska no wo mo wie no no de me card ma me no mam receipt na me de call abayo abako so ye de me call ne ho oba no odi sa omu dua no be fa me hunim sei no so you can go tie me say odi dua no fa me hunim no no so you can go nti che say sa ojiska no wo no sika no a me tia na yi corona no nya fi me ho sika na me tia ma no 412 cedis no sa sika na me tia me se ni nya mfo so de ma wo 412 cedis na me tia na I wasn't a corona risk again just na corona yare no na ebi ni mu
teacher say airport one obi ka se me kire me actually na my imagine se be hwe mu na wo so dia be sisu na wo free Ghana airco Nigeria wo ye test na makoma miensa
me ye ba ko ha na mko ebi nu
Nigeria wo be du Ghana ha so no wasam be ebi
me tia sika ni wie ye no me si me tia sika ni wie ye no afi na menye corona risk biom
ode uniform hwe no wan kotese nka so
wa ma me results bia obi a police bia ndi mechi soldier ndi mechi bofo bia so ndi mechi eho na me qualify say sesi a metumi akọ na me see from din ko fa me bag immigration officer no catch him say offer me who say what na sa che na me catch him say me tina ho che e ma Ghana fo say entika Ghana ni a odi hia oni bie a wakodi dwa ana wakodi edwuma bie wa ma no ne aba ehihye bie ni wo say offer si hwini ho de a ebeji udin ana ebeji passport de ato kofie ochina unye scan bia fabra na yenye maw ana ma yenye test ni maw na abanka jeche bibia ihye bia ni osa wonti a o hye ye detain nti mi tia wie ye no nko ade na menye corona risk biom nti jeche no munim pa se test na ma ya miensa no ya sha fa na nyina ba ko pe na se o ye within 72 hours omo bobo a doctor from pay fodin ba ko mbo Dr. Kote mbo friend Dr. Kote omo fra ne number ne so nkom nti jeche omo kipi mi e wo ho ete omu di mama tena ho mi tia sika nko ade na fe mi nya corona risk biom na me call baby a mo say luggage de me call me luggage no so no obi ani ho ti me na me call fa me luggage di seka so mpa me call ya ti no so kana wa fa me luggage no kana no so ade call na me call fa me luggage din na me nantie na me fa Uber me be pie fia o ma che be se 345 na me yedin esa say Ghana for no ye bufuo no enduru bebe ese eduru Ghanaians are not angry enough but Kwame Nkrumah can say biti mesre o man peyin na do Danko Akufo-Addo so oye ECOWAS chairman ntino on hwe assemble no ye ni ye ese ni nya be ma Buhari ekrom no me ye test aha 350 no ni krom for eje me paper no omudo obuo ma ye eje me 350 paper no test a PCR ma ye no na omo frame oga mo ma me wram omo krom me ye omudie mienu a me de backroom ha no ye se de me ye de full plane pe ye fa nwura Ghana ye de omudie mienu no PCR test mienu no ye de full plane ye fa ma Ghana nti ni a me kire ne se sa sika gidie ni sika ni amawe ehun konta buo e so hia
okay enkoma ye die out the firm ye PCR nsem ya ye nua di firm yi ono anu su ehunu a wose okonya ayo kotoka international airport nene nansa ne nro bro tu kwanko baaye no nti UTV ye hye da nim ono na ato no na woka nti ebedi akire ne ahwe se ne nsam a wokan yi ene se de tie wo airport no yampa na fe ye de atoto ho ahwe se niema etisan ana ya babam na asana ya babam no Mika messages kakra. Francis Apiaje said, good morning, Agya Kwabena. To me, I see Ghana's inflation as man-made from Ghanaians themselves, because nobody is checking who is who. But here in Germany, we have authorities who go around to monitor how people sell their foodstuffs. They say, "Ahano, obi aton so dope. You need a price regulation be and a name you even Togo, a be wo ho check it papa to be ton woniama anyhow. Even Togo. Me kase Togo nya o man. Togo sachen ye. And so sir Benjamin Lawe or say please remember our rent also. Benjamin rent the no so here op our home. Yenya ntia say rent control for so many police for and I think state institutions be ebe kan bom akọ rounds ahwe wo mo a day omo dan rent in dollars no omo anya bi akapa nti wo de dan rent in dollars rent control for ene say me kan chero say enche mbutu musosa ye be hwede be si abla de fie kuma o say please okay akwa bi ya otonton yaza nti mamu fi no Paulus awakasoa watch sorry atiko ya bremuna eba na fi okay I'm say atiko
so say minuanom akasa bebre ba me cheche for na omo majebre ete nkomo no family no dey can say electricity and water cultural the experience of minuano is very touching and I think these are conversations needing follow up but je kono mpese e din komo no we I answer the everything komo we me electricity in specific the cost kwan ayafa so atum from 2010 into me pese I just want to nuance the conversation. Now, in June 2010, na residential, na this is Ghana pesos per kilowatt hour. Into residential, na is 17.25. Na non-residential, 33.33. About January 2014. A record 36.56 for residential and a 61.8977 for non-residential. December 2015, they call 71.33. And a non-residential call 120. March 2018, and a sote from 71.33 to 58.58. And a non-residential by 80.34. July 2019, the cost will be from 58 to 65.42, and then non-residential to 89.31. July 2020, the 65 cost 69, and as September 369, ACO 89.044. The overhead trend now, it is obvious that ECG, in comparison of baby I was a CI no. Ode tutu hwa na kamia say over the last 10 years this is perhaps for residential this is the highest we've seen but ode tutu cost general inflation the cost of senior nyama cost in the last 10 years although it would appear and I said when it's no kamia say it would be a fair representation of the cost of energy. But odia not to general nyama e cost to say fuel senior minuanika know the salary senior amount for aketia koshra then there is a conversation but I actually want to highlight ECG4 report 2019 from Auditor General's report in order to say in the face of it looking at the general trends this may appear fair. But order to do the inefficiencies, need the general cost of nyama now the tutu aketia se nyensin koshwa then then it becomes a conversation and I say eye kasabwa but ye kan nyina bom ne ye Ghana senior Ghana city no he the mismanagement so I will highlight two things I think paragraph 34 of Auditor General's report for ECG Electricity Company of Ghana. It says that we noted that some accounts with GCB and EcoBank, and it goes on to say that this is the point. Outstanding credit in the two banks, a total of 22 million Ghana cedis. We urge management to ensure that the managers of those two account immediately. The next one, it says that they overspend their fiscal budget by about 1 billion Ghana cedis. You go on reconciliation of account in essence of some 4 million, and it goes on and on and on. As someone make and say, and I'm sure say auditor report is the and this is 2019. So the inefficiencies and the mismanagement, minu akabuteka omo muntia electricity. aban na nkasa nyuma ko a edeka wa electricity bebra yenim inti what is happening is that the cost recovery na say omu kase ye electricity yenya cost no inti yen fanko 89 for residential purposes say ye betie ka no question and they say which of these costs and mismanagement and inefficiencies in the system. Say who the inefficiencies driven cost element. Na say timidity and no so ebia general cost for all of us. Ebeba from
pa. Akasa 27% in KBN can Drusa.
Ebia can Drusa. And no na yen common I will say dino because the real question is it is obvious that there are mismanagement. It's obvious that there are inefficiencies in the system. It is all passing that cost of recovery no to the general populace. Unsolve your problem. As a when your malaria no akoto para. Ebia uti beko, but abuana ma malaria no wo.
That's wo.
Inti yan solve inefficiencies ne mismanagement na. Ochna ye besa betena ha because the cost beko so akosho. One of the critical factors of the cost and most of the questions even for inflation you know say self-imposed. I don't quite agree say self-imposed. Statistical service, one of the main drivers dollar the depreciation of the cedi external costs because importing yama bebre no and I see the neko form no it reflects on the cost of things. Into most of the inflation is driven by external factors in terms of currency depreciation. Into the real question, managers of the economy and the depreciation of the cedi. Sebi. So abambia nim na nka wasi ajo mu di kwan fa so solve cedi a. Nka wasi nka ya abai because if any government spoke say if the anything does not go well, the cedi would expose you. And the rhetorics of the kind. This should be the government solving the depreciation of the cedi in ways we haven't seen before. The real conversations are how do we solve the mismanagement? Ghana Water, almost 21%. One of the reasons the chemicals we imported so more nebua kosho but asan say nebua kosho because say the galam say so nti omu here chemicals dodo yeti ha na afoforo say yenso ye the mercury ni champagne so ni ehunu nso ani nso no yaka say ya hwe ya by 2030 ye be importing nso wo Ghana ha inti 21.7% na ayeka no eno ye nde by ya hwe ya 2030 nso aye benom kra no just aye kofa free baby foforo inti nso aye benom no so kra ye be import inti eno dollar no na besa aka no inti nye prices na ye be kan ho asem ne say ahwe ni ya eno na I was saying na as on my mu yetena oni ehu se sebi oman no nya NDC dia na oman no nya MPP dia oman no ye ahwefo ni ye de so oman no ye to abayi mpanyimfo but the sovereignty resides in the people. And these conversations ye kan ani akoda yes Ghana dey asem bia ansori embru 2 weeks acha kikiri pansam ebe hwete but ye hunu ni say oman no chichire no ni oman no nkoyie no ho asem na wose ye ka e wose nyina ye me anibre I was saying and the essential element in our culture questions of agency ye nyina ye be fa to e wo say sudie ni ye nyina ye dia
sudie ni ye nyina dia ya wasema wo kemintwa no anopere me can say be about yensu a ye say no me anyame na meka se mrekudu ka boa me so me boa o se wo mo ko river ofin na wo mo kwa no 338 champagne and na
esi so ni so
good mrekudu ka kro ya onye ni pehunu bi oye deputy minister of lands and natural resources was say foreigners and I say omutu en galam say pa good on one waka ya wagana ha and the media forestry commission on manage to me asho say munna munye mu hwe ye kwaye so say the judiciary and no massa ba ye kan ye kwakra kakra no esanse ye suru so ye beka no ye dis to me corner ama forestry commission for say mu hwe ye kwaye so ye nya ne tie say obi e de excavator kwesi kwaye mu kwae na ye reserved no and no to galamsey ho and na forest commission dey to me na ma omo no and nananum ahemfo and sanchirofo edu kwae mo kwae mo to galamsey ampa and omo sizi omo nema one person company now was see wonu no to go do the say no we stand the fact some forest commission for ema mutumi nananum ahemfo mo na be custodian of the land in sanchirofo da mo so bebi hu akoka no ye machine sama fa mayen a ya broko kwane ma mo nkonne enko china wow meaning say omo geniama no so omo geniama no fi niama na forest for season no omo san geni gina back aso omo koye eye one person odipa bako because onipa ne party executive nti because onipa ne party executive nti no ya man to me ama ne say ye so de ye kwaye nyina meanwhile the same administration minister say Niamani say, do you want to tell me, say, me and Tia make a woman family who time? My can you? They do to me na manwa, a social man at the edgemano, or my name edgema. It's a kuna say me new media uncle, near Kona say.
Jacob, now that's a really great question. And Pembia Rebecca said, Yenina young kono, that's always where it comes to. Yeah, the two young man crofobie. Inti omo nyo majuma, how do we all fight? That's always the central question. My response is two. Number one, is civil disobedience. Sebi obianka so obianko fatu, obianka so obianko enko famba. But there is such power in organized civil disobedience. Say many ususu say yensu say the throughput say yensu cost of water air cost. Na se nipa baako a obenya ne hunti yen nyina yensu say a na se yesusu say yentimi nyehwe na se nipa kron koso say yensu a then Jacob na then is left to all of us. The real question is yebeja ne kasa and I say we will follow through and make sure say something is done about it. And pay me breso no I want to be very clear in saying that sometimes it be a fact we don't have all the facts. But senior Osikai, so by deputy minister Nekaya, who knows the facts, who is really not doing anything about it, then I'll say Busa say Ejumano Sebi yeah, Omufantua and I say and Nipafu Fronye. But Jacob na inti chromo for no ahemfo. Our motina homa inso na say no. Sebi. They no omuntimi omuni bibiaye. Can they demonstrate? Yeah, we think that demonstration is overrated, but it is not. Because once you garner international media, all reputation matters. Abambia is concerned about how people accept its practices. Inti say a sikrom, na say a cassette enough. I don't mean say I will solve all the problems. Sometimes it may mean changing the people we give power to sometimes, but ni nyina nka man nkosi no I will say who say sebio ye nyina na ye yimpanyifo no ye nyina na sem enso ya making se me na me dem be ball ekoguma I should know say me so I have a contribution nipa na o ye galamsey no chromofo na no afọ adwumam chromofo na di nso ese nso no foreigners ya eken China ni ne ba enyo no na etu I understand fine, but a chromo for na saying so no. Inti say you can say now we should understand. Yes, Omaya to Obama have a responsibility. But why also ye galam say chrome hono, you also have a role. Ebia ususu say wanya wunya bibia ni inti obaka koye galam say ni ama obibi kakra. But what ususu say inti nchima beden. Uni horse say then na o mabe
enu ti na di tumi ama obi say obi hwe na tumi ni emra no enya adwuma ene de di tumi na ma no so hwe kwa ibirito no so no o se obi intrude bi akokwa no mu say kwa ni to de tumi na o mande ma no kwa kwachi onipa no okwa onipa ne say wutumi nchime na nchime china
because o tumi
chen o man no tumi e de ama wo ye be
Jacob no was am na den but I think say the obvious we give the power to those people. And if you're seeing so tired, Ponchania or Jewo, Emre ne beso.
Emre ne beso ampa me da say yaw. Me kenka message kakra na fe yemra yensam a etoso mienu so na ane oh. Okay. Pascal Inseto or say why can't they employ some people to go to be checking prices in marketplaces, so we make sure when it is Milo everywhere you go the same price, because some same products can be sold at different prices in the market. Meanwhile, it's the same thing. Kwame Fatas and tells the government economy is very sick. So but the few kuma also this government always talk about tax. What are they doing about the previous tax they collected? Haba, we are suffering too much under this government. Haba bio. Okay, Kwam was say, Agya, good morning. In fact, the media have to rise and speak for the ordinary Ghanaian. Civil servants are really suffering. Even Yeyen Wahai. And Dominic Opoku, aka Opik, or Opik from Accra, or say good morning, Magina so, or say winning. I went to Pick Farm to buy a car tire for my Toyota Vitch on Wednesday. I went to almost 4 different places. The first place, I went and they told me rim 14 size 84 75 is 130 cedis. The second place, it's 140 cedis. The same size and the same. I went to the third place and it was 110 cedis for the same size. I intentionally asked the owner of the third place that why do other people sell it so high? She told me she don't know. They all pay the same tax at the port, but she don't know why their prices are too high like that. I kept asking her why, and she can't tell me why. I thereby advise Ghanaians. Oh, to be she said, I didn't know autonomy back could be the same thing. 130 or baby, 140 or baby, 110 or baby, Minister baby so 120. And sa near Namusa near Kosa. Quick drip.
My main castle kakra so na fair to the price no. Oba bonus here. Okay, said a brave me can say insure with special water say. Ubonso hotel bi to a. Ono ne de no cost kakra, nyese me ginema mo. But on say environment no and the cost of managing omo facility nintin. Na omo de ne bo no be cost kakra. Enti omo so crap na say e den. Si a obia ya nyina ye di nkomo a menya sumpa kan se aban hihye bi ewo a e be hwe se omo nso yate ase mpo se omo ka omo operation che se omo dwuma na omo ye no ho ka wosoro kakra ni nti no eno crap no ye se hwe kwan bi eni omo be di nkita ho ni e be ma na ye ne mre kakra ma aban ne se nso omo enkuonku bi a omo dom sa nkuo no se aban ne omo di nkita ho na sa nkuo no nti ase se se eba so mo de no be koso krapo a se koso ewo ekwan bi sei so wo na me kan nyina se bottle mini one 1 cedi 20 pesos abonti na 1 cedi a o ko mo aso am share be 1 cedi 50 pesos ana 2 cedis un se enti eno krapo no kire se obi a ne bebi odi na agro
Okay.
Enti ka un se ha yi se mi wo kwan ne so a metimi a ye se oje fe pensio na ma to mienu miensa 3 cedis na ma nom enso ko ho so de a ho de be se 3 cedis ba ko 3 cedis a ho de me to ba ko na meti hu din
Enti dependent with the open market and okwo no ko bisa ma ne ko ba sa. Enti open market ni de na ho asam ka de kakra. Kwaku drip say amagana, God have mercy. Game Boy or say what the ghosts are doing at the graveyard is not good, but who go talk? Na some for ye nye and so na we ati asiru na we akwakoka. Game Boy.
Gana for kasa.
One more be the wakana some we.
Onye samai.
Onye samai.
Wakase asama.
O say sama for ya de obabi a wo ne hwan na akwakoka. De omo ye no so sama for de ye so enye. And so na we na akwakoka. Oberima kusi say for the Galamsey issue, I think government can solve it if we tax the DCE, police officers, and the chiefs of those localities to work. This Accra task force won't solve our problems. Ayo. Now DCEs, wonya ne tie se can say edu table see DCs no can be ne 2 galamsey no ena one report we be kan wasam auditor general's report no say galamsey excavators bi ne amane no so
etu ko
ye be kan wasam na Kwame Agya Kwabena, good morning. About the galamsey, let your reporters come to Manson Kwanta and Mansia West inside communities, especially opposite health center at Manson Kwanta.
eduro
Enti Manson Kwanta no health center no opposite. Omu dwirigu gaga. DC ni ho. Regional minister ni ho. Buafo Alexander, I say even Merekuduka is part of the galamsey. Oh, Debbie. I'm a Takwa guy. He have excavators machines. So we are sure. Are you? Minim. Also or Takwa. Na onim de ekoso pa. Yo. Opa Joseph was a good manager. I'm even sad. I bought a bag of rice last week, and this week it has increased by 30 cedis. A bit increase. Stevie Mens was a master kweku. Oh, okay. Okay. Also, Stevie was a master kweku furniture Agric Kromwase Ringway Junction. Or say Nanado must resign now because he is destroying our country. Ghana and Nanado, Bebia Ayabasa. Game Boy. Oh, okay. Game Boy. Say my can with the now can my can say read the messages. My can and I'm going to can Kofi Amo say it's simple. We all don't pay the same value of duty at the port. I'm an importer. I know what I'm saying. Really, you. Ebinum jani free ebinum tuawo hu Idi Junior or say Agya Kwabena, price control really works in Gulf countries, especially Saudi Arabia. Those people are called baladia. Whenever they visit your shop, they check neatness, that's hygiene, and prices of products. If your price is different from the normal price, your shop will be closed for 3 months with fine. So ask anyone in Saudi Arabia about products. Yes, they regulate. And Obidia also say yes, it is true. Francis Amo. Also, please, good morning. About selling Ghanaian, about trading. Ghanaian traders are underground scammers. Why? Because they want hedge profit. When I say high profit, ayo. Na say adwadifo no so kan bi and ye huna mani. Sanka omudi no krama ya akaye mre se de ye bre. Thank you very much yati. Yanhwe na yemra we so Auditor General's report. Holistically. Ye kan nyina bo holistically ye fa na makomako a ye fa ajagefo die enu se o maka wan asem aka say dom sit talk as na ajagefo no kura din be buy ene cast omoto ye e bi de 70 cedis 7,000 e bi de o hwe car no price no ene ayi a ensem bebre na ye hwe wo kan nyina boma we say Auditor General's report this time around, attach every aspect of your system, Yes, Forest and Finance Ministry. So Mako Tia about 1.1 million Ghana cedis to 3 people. The Pamiansa. Answer the Pamiansa to the Maomi. Now one more enkrata Samoa, I say Finance Minister Faso Editiano Crano. Nanya available. Yeah.
Yeah. Auditor General's report, my teaching commander, Mr. TFE, what I personally find very fascinating. 374 academic programs at University of Ghana unaccredited. 299 programs at KNUST was also not accredited. Me who may have missed that fee. But the real question is, the implication of this is, if you are a TAA, they cry, you need degree. Because yes, you say you need BA economics, FE baby. But no, that program was not. In TAA, I have more trolley or more. If you are also a graduate, but now you're a
graduate. When I go quiet, Sabramine or the Registrar General, it didn't come off here, my meme referring. Oh,
worry.
Mrs. Owari, you didn't come on here, and Nika say. Son, come on, was say why didn't cry my baby, being recognized.
Absolutely.
Based on baby Aqua,
absolutely.
Baby Aqua was saw them, so I saw them register so to meet who's to
absolutely.
I know we are my show.
No, it's well, they be some part, the fire, there's some pass him, Makuma.
And I'm saying, no,
would I go page when cry? You bet me action be crying.
In say starting common fee, then we can really dissect it to all the other agencies. Why do I find Siapon issues with the baseline accreditation that fundamental? Because sebi enkomre nyina yesia hunu. Enkomre nyina no places of excellence are baby yesia there. Enkomre nyina no omo na etete politicians, omo na etete a doctor for, omo na etete economists. Yeah, ete nyina when yakoji enkrata which gives us a seal of approval. Say we have some validity in some knowledge form. But whatever the situation, if you realize, okay, some of the courses have not even been submitted at all for accreditation. Some have expired. The real questions are,
yes,
what society creates a university where baseline accreditation is faulty? And that's the real question. Society being in creating the highest echelon of education, defaulting in the baseline requirement of accreditation. And the moment we can answer that question of what society does that, report on the would make sense automatically.
Yeah.
Because, and you've heard it, I've heard some people say, but courses we are, yes, sir, it's been courses we've done for a long time. Why are they saying that we've not been accredited? Because there is a law somewhere that requires you to. The informality, and I know, sebi yemfa bibia anya hwe, yemfa bibia anya asem. Inti sanya yeno, the culture parades around the informality, the comfort, the social cohesion. Inti say yesi afibia ko renew where. Now, some are 5 years. Why do I need to do it this year? If we think that the policy of the law is wrong, yes, it's not the policy of the law. Yes, Susudiana, they measure no, and then yes, it's Susudiana. But the question is Susudiana to say no. The real question is, to what extent is that enforcement critical? Inti say ye jai manako, ye jai enyashi, yemfama nyame. All the other things would show up in the same way. Oh, here your friend is saying, the law says that the officer needs to get approval from Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
But I refuse. And I say, for some reason, you can't say a better on that 90. Why do I need that written approval from the ministry? How many times have we all not approached a Juma with such attitude, with such culture? Oh, and yes, now where they say a photocopy, my to so an we all have come to a place the diligence, the passion, the deference to good work, has almost become a general culture. Inti Mr. Tiffy only to make the general point say some of the issues in the report are only signposts. Ye nyina ye suban, ye nyina ye nipa su, ye nyina nyama ya ton baha, ye nyina nyama ya mfa ni serious. Asem bia wo kan ye me de. Say wo hwe report we it appears say it touches society, almost all facets of society. Because a Jacob na empe bebre ya na de so bonobo amanyofo. Efa baby no omo na edi tumi na mo. But that ye beto ya bo ahwere nyama ni mu ti say de Auditor General report we tie no. Ye bo say amanyofo no they are only escalated because omo na ebia omo wo so. But the omo ya no ye nyina baby share the report as it pertains to district and municipal assemblies. Share the irregularities. And I've taken some time to look at those things. Almost every district assembly, almost every municipal, and also a presidency, Debbie. You know, and so the real question is, unless we all, again, enforcers of the law must absolutely
enforce. And who are those enforcers of the law? Are they not, one more to me, almost say, abaya or we can't buy but one more. You do to be national say money any muno and you don't make sure say sector to sector no sector ministers and as for the so many interior ministry say ni say your soldier phone police for mo show maseni it is enforce say by force law no say woman na beka say ade we ayatie ade na wo na say wo hwe na wo nya hodwuma na wonye
when something is endemic sebi one way obechi obi atum
ani anyina nkodam
so if the problem is punishment of the law and deterrent, that the philosophy said obi ya de broso a traso a bonipa near the nakotum na nyina yesu ehunu say we are. But if it's a norm, if it's normative, then nyanipa ba confirm so nyina inform so maybe we just imported the law without the sociological leaning. It say you say if the problems are endemic, to say you wait here now. If it touches on all aspects of society, then the way to solve it is sebi. Yes, it's about how do we reconstruct, how do we educate, how do we anamrano na yensisano. Ebi ayede say ya na no. Inti yensisamrano, ebi amrano has no relevance to our society, so we should change it. Those are, I think, more important conversations. But of course, there are also people who, in breach of the law and in the nature of it, we need to serve the examples by deterrence. And I think we always say this. Some bits of corruption are faced with the harshness it deserves. And that is why obianya corrupt, because sesebi abai mu nipa oye penyi no say na to na me DC menye inti for baby ndi okan ya no correct yenya to omo ayede to me ama omo no should stand on the powers that we conferred on them na omo famra no sebi enye adwuma. Most of these reports you see, if you look at the corporate institutions, state-owned institutions, and you see the inefficiencies, the question is, inti they are appointing the say MD no. Why na heard so bosome so or the report come why na ebusan say nti ka we a wo boy ye be than ya solve it. The real questions are yes, the executive, parliament and the legislature, but I think that the people also have a responsibility. Okay, university or manfa we accreditation board should have been monitoring. So they have a role. Why have they not monitored to a point? It had to take an Auditor General's report to tell us. That means a structure of monitoring has broken down. But also, no other university internal structure. It knows what is expired and submitted for accreditation or what programs haven't been accredited and things like that. Inti Sebi, yeah, can yes utu okrafo no. Maybe I only momonia say and I'm not so kasa. Omo edit to me now mono absolutely have their role to play. And I think that it all starts and ends with leadership. Me know ya again. Say so name penini domu say si omobo aye de here ne de eboa ye nyina ebia ye nyina ye be konkan. But in the absence of that, in the pandemic nature of what we're seeing, it will take a lot more education. It will take a lot more mindset change. It will take a lot more ye nyina no ye nin common hunu say problem no ye pointy and such champagne for no by ye nyina.
Okay. Me da say ya ade o kan say ye nyina na ese hwe ne ye na so sa na tie say ye nyina na hwe say ye say a whole finance ministry etumi ka say ye kwakutua sika e de amadi pa miensa bi asa de pa miensa no minima nkrata samu asese kire say asemese agya Kwabena meti hei asese etumi de sika ne ma no weni no ye nti osefata say this kind of man ambo bi agya atum so no osefata say de ma no ya nye ene etu sika na gu nipa na account mu a obako nya about 300 something thousand in can 3 billion cedis miensa we ne yati o ya de ya ante so enti me media public accounts committee media ti media hwe
Akoma be ya
yes esa say edu ba bi a bufu abofu onipa beti say ye na hwem John Kuma say sika na ekodi sankrofo ne nche no yaji can we trust him say all can say so no kure ya me da bi ameka na maka say your credibility is very very important in life and yet worth na ema oye obi credibility ukojina parliament as deputy minister of finance can say yanko IMF ne enko IMF for China within 2 weeks na ekọ IMF enti sa wo ko ka say yaji sika na can I trust you sika na kodi wo mo nchen no head must roll mami ko tuku anyi do
yeah Agya Kwabena in fact eba auditors general report issues now in fact I idea me read here no for almost 2 hours na me normal person because me ya pass me Ghana ni na sa nema we esi o me man mu na woni ma dia ya asefem kese oni mi say ye court bad time aloya sompa eti hei obedi dance ye ye de ukojina court a wo ye ho akrampo na baboto me camera omode even a company dada mama copy mo court in 2012 no your mampeni mo ma wote kunya so na me na so boa president one wote na ne to nkan kunya no me ka 2020 dey amode na do copy mu yi se se na ote ho nyina na akunya no mu ehye because court no e wo tumi say etumi ensure discipline court no tumi say etumi kan say we ya we ye no wo tumi mpo a wo nsem ada say wan kasa wo right mpo a wo de betena abonten no majefi nsem kona ko twe aban koko for this number of years enti ye hia empenimfo a omutumi ebo ye mara no ho ban no they should come with certain credibility and respect of the very law that they use to punish others. I didn't tell America the same way. Me share a new my course nyina personally starting from Judge for V8 amokoto to 19 cars as a civil society organization yeah the petitioners na they call if anything special prosecutor office recommendation auditors general yeah no fine say we should recover the cars no now me share cars ni bi no V8 I turn 2017 now our auction sa car in 2019 nipa na use car no for 4 years ni wo sa car chere say nipa sa judge ne say on san return sa car na say me car me azubila bete na nka me car obi abeje car no 4 years na se wantua ofisi ma abeje the same car that bi and to beto from me so petition I did PM wo friend say special prosecutor and say say just cars that bi mu a causing financial loss to the state or man never boka because car wa use as a personal private car for 4 years yes an kojin fan ko si aban say aban crop may use and this is not coming from any ordinary people but the very people that supposed to interpret the law punish people as a friend say lawyer can serve as deterrent to people to be afraid. Now corruption is something that is so scary to even embark upon. And then judges upon me share friend say US Department of State 2021 annual report. Our can say judges are corrupt in Ghana. Now me share a friend say CDD report. Baby, I'm yam shame and say almost say 85% of Ghanaians perceive judges to be corrupt. Do you know what that means? 85% of the whole country perceive say judge our obu attempting no woye katasehye proye ne kankan adware won. What it means is say Agya Kwabena se me no wonya case si na se hwe no wo sika se me mfa won court man fa won come krom bo so ma na ne metumi aye na meye na court wo de minim se me de wo kwa mintumi enni bim wo hwe galamse asem na wo kokan yi state institutions any ahempon akọ stop say a honey reserve area you cannot go there and mine. Then the people are so regional. What can you do? Who are you? Do you know who I am? Or your party are you? I have an onya ne to me free. When you say judge do honoma, so when they no could do honoma, just a phone call to that judge. The case, a very foolish case. So when you live in an institution and answer a country, the very people, the three arms of government, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And the judiciary is even the most powerful because they are those who can punish both the legislature and the executive. Not so more, they are the most rotten institution as we speak now. Now 85% of Ghanaians.
Esu say. One yes. One yes nko ene no nukura ewomuni perception ewo ho. Na reality so ewo ho. Say ye ka say yen hyeda enya nyina so potsi bi a kire say asem omo ka so omo ye corrupt no ebia omo ye corrupt sa troka huhu se de eye yesusu say
wahu o say yen hye na hu bi
ye hu bi sa na se ye kakra bi ye hu ni
na ntam bi sa so o say ye hu ye
for say na de na make ene de na make say de ye ka na twe no
ye hu bi
de ye say na anase kakra me yetumi hu enti no wo mu say ebia cd de report say ebinum susu say womo anyinni womo ni de enso say ye nokre say bia mesusu say watade a wo hye ebia wo hye ntade be fo wase eye madwe na me di bu mi ho ne bia ba ko pe na hye ase enti not until say be ya tade me hu say ba ko pe na hye ase no yetumi nyina so nka say dia me susu no sanity.
Thank you for that because my notice some things I thought I would rebut afterwards. It's absolutely important.
Okay.
You said that.
Okay. Oh, say Yeba CDD report now. That is the perception of the general public. But what derives the perception? Say, announce a report about one thing. Actually, say, judge for to me Jim Ponchi. Say, me nisi camp, me yes, Kenya, me ye Kriania, me to me, and Poncheno. Me de me case could do court, and ye hear me ya Ponche de ma, ne tipen pem na bon kama, sent no air fire, me to me the winning case. Say, ye nyasa, nema we. Ama ya gina mo yi judge for no be edida. Me nua friend say kote e ka say na mani atete. Na experience e wo airport. Why all this impunity? Just because you were a baby or kanka say mo say oni friend ni bu mfu okwayem. Oni friend ni bu mfu okwayem e ni bi na identify mo no. Ha ye na tumi na e hye nsa. Untumi nya hwe. Even say obepie mpo no, wan man ye na ye pa. Ye ma wo mpie. Na se o pusi nipa no ema o fati bia ti se mu a ebedu mebe na ti se there will resist wo hwe asema John kuma be ka e fa sa auditors report e ho nsem se bi oh in fact na me rehoye o se ghost for no ani momo o magis kene bi ghost dey see enim won nipa wa wu dey sasamai we have been looking for this ghost who are causing a lot of problem for us in this country for years. Na se John kuma tima hu sa ghost for ebi mo tima kwaji over 1.5 million Ghana cedis say mo pia mo na nsie ne dia. Omo ma ye hu ghost no ministry no. E me say omo wo ghost minister e wo hono ma ono na o ebia o ghost for national say. So we tumi hu bi na say yakọ Jesus Canada. Sisi Ghana e problem kase e nsamafo no. A o ma ba ne ya ti asefo e pre ho aketua ntuma te se mpo ya ti asefo e pre ho se mo ntuma ye no. Nsamafo no poji say ye. I think this is a very serious issue. I say ye ka ho asem. Na ma me mfa ne e twa to credit fa friend say a judge for no. What I believe in is as a civil society organization, no, the Supreme Court or the court is a place that all of us we need to protect. Me ya na ebe ya say me ka asem e de fa ye judicial service and I say ye Supreme Court because a institutional I say ensure discipline. A institutional I say to me ma public nya regime mu say look obi ye oba na me famra nsho wonsem fa court fa na famra kwanso nti say enema bi say bana e de e fe say doubt and I say amanfo hu ni say institutional nka obi fom me na yesi me nya me ho abotre na me mfa Ghana mra no emfa nya adwuma no ebia ma kofa lawyer sompa ba ko gina court obe agiu ne law knowledge wo nyina awura akoti constitution e bibia na obi atima hu se o asem we die thank my debi na obi dia ponche akodane sa argument we nyina egu sa niam we ne ema as a civil society organization. I'm happy today none of us is a politician. We are all civil society and we are speaking the mind of the very society that we are all living in. So this is not political propaganda. A issue I who say a some case here edema yema Ghana. I who be here say yen to me. O baby that say omokoji sa V8 and sa cars no. Usher regulation 158 of the Public Financial Management 2019 LI 2378. Bibia dia dan CPF how you can even the procedures of getting some of these auction cars. Now wo judge awonim me ya meti azubule isi say me kwa koto car. Ade ba kwa ese me hwe ne chassis numbers. Every Togo. Car ne papers bibia yi me koto car ni me nka chem se car ne ko wiaye na maka se me nim hu bi. Me de to na me toy amanfo edoma koto prisons ene a enam se enye oman kasa na ko wia bibi na emu obi wia ye na omo e benefit ye omo da mfia se nde na wo sa judge na pass sa law no ene wa koto V8 ye ko say 57,000 even ties for na dancing in poison ye ko kan wo say e auction V8 awadi 1 year pe o
I didn't say blame auctioneer no because say me can say me say dia woton no ewo ho ena dia oton no ewo ho enti me a me ton no ebu a me de be ma no se ene ade no se de susumbo ne te a eno no me na minim ade na me be ton no ena minim ne bo enti se me kura phone we and specialize in so we na me de ba me se be ton no 10 pesos me wa me no say be ton no be 4 cedis na me ye ma ba so ma ni nya no bi na me na wo so
I definitely need to
na okan se oni mama pin na advan ko
me pa
u be kai de intira ye che government property emra kwan so ana ye man for akwanya se omonto property so kai se o man pin na do want to be tama ya buying ema kwan ukai properties na Jake honorable Jake motor woni be ntia o man pin na do want to no on based on principle
okay into the principle no keep principle no ma na fe me azbela ma anu sina me ko onua so am sina no keka no
say yes here ka enema ekoso o man mu na as a Ghanaians no mama yen ka no kre as it is enche yen penimfo say onye tumi a ense wo de sum nipa na daachi bi woni ho a amanfo tumi gina maka say Agya Kwabena na wo UTV nipa nya bibi panka yen ka asempa ba ko mi ni fa wo na say ye ma otumi say fa di nipa so na service am penimfo we nyina say omo nya nkramofo penimfo a na omo ya sorry penimfo e wo various churches na obedru ho na their actions is not even societal oriented. Not to say near omo ye nyina ye just their selfish interest, certain negative and bad precedents for us in this country. I think say idea say nyina to me eboa na fight it na sa perception ye kasa fa judge for hu ne we no enye se bi obi eta judge bi in fact there are people that we need to protect them but omo ya de enya ese yetumi e ka no kwese na ese fatare e ka se eja nko obi na ye ya bi anka enka na eye mo judge for nko ade ese ye ka because mono you should know better make inka politician bi na okoto o senka we nkanya news but say judge ni na wakoto de news ema obi because na womum nti ene se me dis asem ko pie court say auction cars auction cars ama enkonfuku bi unlawfully who na kwatena master no so enye judge na kwatena say no wa say week abe di master na ene so no papa ka car na ba kwasifia judgment be na beba it doesn't matter me selecting the best lawyers in the country to go and defend my case because one of packet V8 in back fee. So these are the things that judges should not be part of those looting this nation. We
seem to be looting.
Yeah, this is looting of state properties. If you go and buy V8 that is just 1 year old, 57,000 Ghana cedis. Toyota Corolla and Poe Eton say, make engine for Equinox, almost 10,000 to 12,000. Now we judge Okoto V8. You use for just 1.5 years. 57,000. Even so, be the deal with the back when him Okota. Say, we are top V8. 50 we. That's a judge Oko. Nipano, what? Is it sometimes? I never go home.
Me that's say that one eye. Yeah, kind. Me can't say be. Me say me pay. What's what to mama me? What's what to mama me? Okay, I mean I did kura me. And I was what to mama me. And I won't edit to me a mouse on your auctioneer. And to auctioneer no share no. Also about 4 year case you won't know. Yeah, see a ton you got ton brand new 10,000 cedis. But where you such a kakra? Me sure the number of years where you excuse me, Mufanchemi. Where you sunwa. Me kekana me yi ti bi free mu keka bi si ani a me de mama be 6,000 Ghana cedis under normal circumstances no okay me a me ton ade na ma no me ba me so why so 1 year cra for 40 30 10 Ghana cedis be fa why do you blame me and be toy
okay Ejagobla
yes bro
ajo phone we me ton 50 pesos what
50
realistic price
forodo
Emra kwan so say me wo kwan a me ton ade me wo kwan say me ton ade wo so wo kwan say wo beto ade nyesa enso me kan wo say air dodo my engineer dodo no so niama mienu bi issue of principle say wo nipa na wo no udi mra so wo wadwum da odin a wo be dwin say ade we ya na enye na conflict of interest we say bi di bia bi a odina no e say wo hwe niama bi a akwanya bi ba na wo hwe wo so yi na me ka asem efa omanpin na na do ho se ye ma kwanya e wo mra kwan so se ye ntotototo aban adan bi ani ansase bi omanpin na na do se sa abre no o aban mi no minister o se on to bi on fa bi e se ono ana adwim no na adwim ye na enso na ye mra kwan so ye ngina ho ne enko ye nim na o hwe sa ne adewa me ka kire wo no wonim se emra dibie ho na ankasa no say ye fa asem na ye ko fa phone you a mekan na also to no 10 pesos a ajeje phone timi bisa o say nti wa wadwum ye ade we bre wo say 10 cedis no we ye nhwemu bi fa ho ana na ankyere wadwini say ade we akọ from dodo ana mami jasa mi nu mamo na me nko corruption na obisa ye no corruption ho no so mpase ohun bibi e wo krata no man na kuma hyehye no so o say ha wo pa me nya isu say ha no me ahame de bi ahame kura me hu hwe so wom auditor general report me hu hwe bibi amono bi anim ada na ha mo e den na wo mu no mo tete ha den na mo ka kire me no so mpa o ka kire me say den e den na wo mu poten aye mo no wonim protocol me ka say the continuous raking of state funds has and the tolerance of state systems plus a sleeping citizenship base has made corruption normal. It has become the normal. Some part can be say, just say, "Who's a chrono? Your boss man who could do baby na go say, ne ade da ho nti si ame ne wo ye twen se auditor general report no ye ready a ebe pie mu se ye di na ye so ye di akire enra na ye 10 million o akofom kakra o afi we de course no de bi akofom kakra ene ye no se ya giatum o man bi so no se ka eba ne se 10 cd ne coffee mu obi wo ho a na nsakra nka ho nso mo so de n'adwuma nkrata ato so otena ho a we hu se asem we be fa ho no ono kra na gentle no ade ato nze si a muhu ye de me hu e se yen check na se ye de catastrophic proye no ebeko ma me nka che o ne ntira togbi afedi kan se o de ne sika a ye de man no e fa sa 71 for office holders ono no de e ba no ye tena ho na ye hwe ma timamfo ni bi ekokeka no kuchi mo kokeka no ne bone ne se o se ono de na adwi mu no ni ana na do ye mprembe atwemu no ono so aye bi se sika we de ono de o de ba o de sika ni bi be gufutuo no mu no keka no krum ha no ese wani mame ko nua special prosecutor o te so se ene kata so shani prayer bi epie wo porto eto onfa wondie bi a de ma company la Bianca special prosecutor nyina yi ni se ono no onfa na ho odin ene na adwen beto no hwe nkrata mu na onyi katasha ni proye no no nkeka no wi man ye no ono akohu bi eyi bre ye no ye tena ase ne ye hwe ma obi ka kire so ye small boy na katasha ni proye de small boy fa ho ben so ni ye hwe na kasa ene ni ama ye kasa hwe no enso be ma kobra ni gina ho o secretary de wasum de osum na de ye asefim ne se la Bianca fo no kra no mo so mo mbisa e enso ye 1 million Ghana cedis e de ma mo to on fa che yenko yenim anas amre anas mene wo ene mi nua be ma so mpa ni papa ye otiri ya gina wa hwe e ma ya keka ne saa ma anas aye din ya keka anas ama wa ye din yenko yenim amanase azuri sa wo okrom ha manase edu bebere se na saskiti man protection ye ni fikrom ha sasa ne edidi nechi e pe na pira no na yemfa ne se manase na oboa anaskiti fo na omo twa ye ntoro a nia ono so oti ni baby a ono so koka bi a ono so ne nkan de ahwiri no amet swali ayem sa unim yoku no ye hu enti ne me kira ono se sa katawse ni proye no se kan se ye krowe ye ni abre wo ho a kasa ne ma we nyina ensi fa omo ye se omo kobo aban no obo aban wisi blowing se obi ewie bi o ono okoka bi no won sa nkofo we ni ama omo hu ye yenko yenim se kasa ni prayer be ne be ko a e wo stages bi a se FM ne edi kan and earth corruption se obi ba akọbọ we se the Ahmed Swale obo ya o hye from ene no ne Manase Azuri ko bo obi na ye di na chiri a obo ohu no ono so ne de no na obekọ mienu so a to prosecute through legal processes se so mpa be hye ne court fefe no the white na abo ha ni sei na judge ti na konwam na sa kwatashep ni prayer pie mu a ye de be fa mra kwan so this special prosecutor de fa mra kwan no so no oyi nkrata no se de bi we nkwa de mfem la Bianca obisa o se membisa ene ska no won fa mra biom o sin ka se aye tontontoni ma ye nhwem we mu se mu ntwensan eno ye fa sa kwan so ne ngie ni ama stage 3 se ya hwem nyina hu se we enko ne kwan so na yakase ye jiska ni bi recouping funds na ya na ehia me yakopie mu se dipa no wa boye kro no ana wa yiska bi anye so yi no enye se ye de bakoto afiese first ni ehia me fa na edika ni se ye be yi sika na se ni sika sem ni dani bibia ye be freeze aban ni sabeto so na ye di asem ni wie ya se eba de se o de 1000 a ni ka ni ye beton efie ni ye beton ye ntonton ni anje sika ni first ni ye wie a ansa na yakase se o yes ade we nti de kotu efie ase stage 4 improve preventive measures ene yeti wa ehun se krata bi a friend se aban krata bi de ma eto on fache no obi ambi san kra mpo no diare peyin bi ama no eto on fache no ochina yemfa mra bi nto one yemfa yeni nkoto yi na yenhwe se ensi biom ni last one enkra ne se ensure national advocacy say ye ma timamfo no bi hu se emra bi wo se o koka se o Agya Kwabena na Jeffo edi ne sa bomu a se wo kan wie a e ma obrodo ni nsuo kakra se wo be kan ye sa niama wo ye sa niama we na wo hye oman ni mu kina se obi afa na adwen na ho de mbra e beboa na mama nko judiciary on emra law ye ti hay a survivor say ye team say ye nipa nko ano it is benched on the law nyame na obo ye no o ma ye emra edu 10 commandments e ho na ye sha ase o e na oba ansa na obroni be fellowship wa ba ye krum ha no ne ye wo mra o traditional setup ukwa ahemfie ye wo mra ne ye wo ebusuapen a oba koka wa asem ama wo sika se den se wonya asem o ebusuama na kronuma ye kwa ahemfie a obusuapen ne be kasa ama nti no no ne lawyer no obroni ye dana so oba ye krom enso ansa na obeba ne ye wo bibia pepepe nti sa law no ne ye wo bi wa ha it is ye fa wundie ene ye bibia no law no ne be ma ye den ye nya bi sa stages we ene hia e fa law ho making the law say ye nyina ye be di atum say emra we ni ye de bebu ye ho baako applying the law sa mra na ya ye no hu say parliament ne be law no ye kopiem e wo court ho a yes apply the law ye apply law no say ye de mra na be ye adwuma na ade baako edi kan pa fairness say no kraturo do edan ha yemfanto no ha say da ha so a yemfanto ha say nipa ne kristoni muslimini ana owo sika oni sika sa niama we nyina no enye say ba betwa afa mra no ekwam reviewing the law yeko yenim no mra no ye hye kra kwa yeko ne betima dan no emre ko emre eba no ne ye dan mra no enti na de bia ye ka say your term be a constitutional review na ye be hye ye law imu ne ahye mra no say ye be dan no na ahwe ene asetenam last four no protecting the law and strengthening it emra no ye sha e say kwa ye gina emra no ne ye hwe say emra
ye
bo ho ban na emra no it doesn't suffer the head and hand hash of human say you also say minyane we nti emra no ye
na sense she nyina eni ho wo kan she nyina no for instance America dia fa galamso yitu hu say mra kire se ben konkoshe factory ho kwa emu ho nkonkotu I so the sene kokoshe ho but because so no fo say no party na wo power na bibi etisa na say oye obi o wotumi ta na chinti no obeye emfa ne ho omane mra no bebu ne ni aguso enti de o ka nyina ni nyina ni ho
e wo ho sa enti ofa we krata making na ye ko a wo ye denia emra no wo hyehye ye no wo say me enye we Agya Kwabena be di so say onu de onye o sisi a wakan abrante bi say onu no na ban wo power enti onu no oye oni so na oni minya kasa no oka otu ye fu ba ko bi a eno no na omanpeyin da Rollins e kan no ofre no positive defiance uduru ha say edam kakra wo se tibamfo no wo sa say edam kakra aba de bia si aye no wo be dan no so wo de dam be hia no be kire wo ba ko ne say wo be kai say na parliament ka so mbesi chamber mbesi bia efoforo bia momo na mra kwan so no mbetimi aye say mbetimi aye no ma ye no fefefe na dan fefefe si yo no mo ye parliament edwuma wo eye say mo ye no sa enso mo kai no timamfo ni bi yesi de bi yendidi ya so kosi dan foforo yampene nti yesi o drop that chamber yamfa anko court say ye de kotokrata so na ye de parliament court na ye mra kwan so na ye de atwesa de na san enso mesramika o sebio ye kire edam kakra yesi de bia ye yesa ye ko wo boa ye ne kakra ye nyo ba ko bi ko parliament e ma omo che no omo say owura parliament na me ye hu video no na it took that young man to go that level enya ade amefo aso enso de me kire ne say esisa matima amefo kai say tumi bi beba omu obufuo bi man na yetimu no edumre bi no sajagete esori anopa say okoye demonstration no nim say okọ a ahwe a o mafie biom enso okoye ma me ne wo ene sa fa wondie ni enya Kwabena Nkrumah ko da fi ase ye gene fa wondie ada ntia o se de bi edubre a tuntum ebe gene man na kokko so nko ni fie oye sa de no ukọ sa mra na na ye de ato ho a ye bebu man Ghana a ye good ku sa bre no na o tia sa mra na ye wo no enso tia mra no na niam nko yie oye wie ye no na ye gi ye fa wondie nti se ye ba na ye se Land Cruiser a ye se ye ton be se opepepepe mienu miensa bi na yakoton no efom kura ewo emra no asemba ko fa mra no se wo yetimi dane mra no na eye mra na no ebetimi tia ofa wundie so papa eso na emra adentra ti se to on fa chewe Minister of Finance owo mra ma no sa akwanya no se o ma eto on fa che ewo ebre bi mu na se ode no nkwa na be adwuma dia ene ko kina no pa obetimi di bia ma Agya Kwabena e di bia ma Jeff enso so uko nkrata animu a we bisa se na sankrofo ya ode ma won no ene omonso apply bia omonso mu pe bia o ma won no enso so ya be na wo mu a de bia de ye de ma we mu de bia o kina uko wi nkrata animu a emra kwa so Frontiers Company na omoje sa covid sikai omo ba kroma no ebe ehye omo dwuma ase no ye bo omo so de ru se debi sa na abra he di contract no omo krapo no na omo din ni krata mu se omo masa service no enso ye wie ti no so omo saje edwuma ne ye e wo mra pa so
ne nyina be sia sem ba ko so se mra no wo so mra ne nya adwuma
mra no be wo ho ye adwuma se ho touch ba kakra esese timamufuo no ye sorry e kase o pain asemwe e kire ya adwen kakra e no de beto krata so na de akoma pain poto kase you can say you protest and now you have a divergent view no akọ seek correction obetumi ade akọkọto enso si awa me ye gitum se secretary no de kokọto a e beti waje osio Agya Kwabena why are the papa so de bae no ma o chia onsem sei why are the pa ye behwem na ochina ye ne wedi nkita ho enti se eda ho na onye ho hwe a eno so eden ema egufuo ene sa uncomfortable feeling no esto me ba na se a woken emra anye adwuma no ede egufuo ene eba enti obetie a Ghana fododo na e ka se oman no ahokira bem emra no so atochima ba so mpa ka asem bi kire wo se edu sa mpepen so na minya be maso ka CDD report ya ewo se ubisa emu ekọ a ewo nyama bi a nipa ehu enti na ya na ma omo eyi omo adwempo no ba enwemu no bi mu pia ema nkrofo na dwe no omo ema omo do bebre tisesi Agya difo won asem a ye kan ye na ye wo sa adwene no perception na minya be ma ne kan no na nkrofo adwe mu no e omo adwe se minya be ma bi ese yese na edo omo adwe mu na asem bakwa Agya Kwabena pese mka se obi su kokoto ema edi asem no ema na asase ne ye ne dia ema obi di sika eje won no di kofo dodo bebre ntita ma na ho ka se adwenkyere no na eho no na me se Agya Kwabena ye di nkrofo sa mra na etia nkrofo no nkrofo omo asase wato asase ne na dia krata ne da ho ebi bu di mia ewuye mini bebre onungwa omu di mia ewuye onu ana asase wato ye ji won ho ye di katakashi de eka de bia no ye ji man kobra ne edi arehu ewuye hwe me papa asase ye tso onungwa hwe ye asase e turn one plot no se si half ne wo so ya jiji wo ye ho nye se bisuro o so de me kire no se me maame osun de bia nka che ne se maame ukunu asase no edan bebia wusi eni ne omo fa bia mo mfa oni omo kokun koto a wo sika obekọ anopa ewia enyumire na osika na eden na ahye na so mpa so etoka wo a lawyer for ye ko banyina na omudidim enti o de bi say ewejuma enso emu twe ko na mi ma ho de ni misika no na sa nso mpa we de ti ase kakra me ba te say
me was the marker me was
missy from the marker na say mra ne de wo ho ɛso nipa
yes
ɛte sɛ me ne wo ɛne yɛyɛ mmara no ho adwuma nti sɛ ɛho bɛtɔ kyima no deɛ nipa ɛwɔ ho nkwan deɛ ɛho bɛtɔ kyima na de bia ma yɛ mbrɛ da ma yɛ de hia paa ne sɛ me nya bɛ ma ɔka sɛ CS no CS fo no hwɛ ma yɛ mbrɛ yɛ timamfoɔ no ma yɛ mbrɛ da sɛ dikanfo ambrɛ Martin Luther, Mahatma Gandhi, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. Oma mbreda de bia omuka esa mansesan ne bae. Nansesan ne ba wi abenkoda. When you strive and the change comes, own the process, sustain it. Say ene yesi nsuo we ye cha na ye ma ye bi. Ye kosu sa na ye start ye cha na ye ma ye bi a. Me ma yenkoda o. Ma ni na o. De bia ne nka ne say yakobra on say isi awo ma me no me ho ato me. Ti de bia ma me bi. Why? Me yenkoda. Ti de bia ma wo kasa. Ujai kasape
ebe film sa medase Dennis ODK say this MPP government we voted for is regrettable. We are very, very angry with President Nana Akufo-Addo. Adoku Godfred also good morning Agya. Please, so between ghost and the living being, who has more power? Is it the ghost who sees to the payments of those monies or the living being? For me, ghost can't be at the back of computer. So let force the living to pay for the crime they've caused this country. Now you are bred as youth of this country. As always say, one day. No, bibi di achire. Also, these political parties are more than armed robbers. Agya. The issue is we Ghanaians should be serious to get void of MPP and NDC and have nothing good. We should avoid them or what? We should avoid them because they have nothing good to offer Ghanaians. All they know is to create hardship for the good people of Ghana, especially the youth. And see, you're not so okay.
No, just to rebut some facts. The decline mechanism. I think the say cars no V8. The first fact I want to put that the 19 cars, not all of them.
10 of them are V8.
Not 10 of them are V8. So there are saloon cars, there are SUVs, and the Land Cruisers is just about 3 or 4 of them, right? That's the first factor I want to say. So not all the 19 cars are Land Cruisers. Not all of them are. Having said that, is there an irregularity? Absolutely. Because there should be an approval from Minister of Finance. So there's an irregularity. But does that lead to a culpability? And I say, some say, I will say approval from Minister of Finance, any onity. Yabeka Manakosi say, Sebi, the judges who bought it are at fault. I would rise to their defense heavily.
Because you're a lawyer?
No. I would do that because, Kwabena, you see, if you look at these cars, I work with a bank. I work with 3 banks. At any point in time, we do auction of cars. And I'm sure that we're minim there, but there are times you auction cars. Every company does it. The idea of auctioning the cars is not only to help the public officers and now of buying things relatively cheaper, but the core thing then they say the book value minimum, you cover the book value of the car. Meaning they say the car was 1 year minimum. I don't have those.
But could be a Toyota Fortuner SUV.
Yes.
Almost registered in 2018. You turn 60,445.
You see, the main car, and I would be very clear here.
Okay.
I'm not saying that these valuations are correct.
Okay.
I'm just saying that whatever the valuations are, somebody, a state agency did the valuation, not the judges. Somebody did the valuation, somebody did the auction. Whether it was a closed bid or whatever the process, and again, I don't know the process that the auction went through. But if they were closed bids, nasa me fairly form, not closed bid, me submit a metoka 64. No, be submit another bidder. it would mean that I would have won the bid. We can argue about the proper valuation of it.
Okay.
But if the process of the auctioning was public, if the process of the auctioning went through what was required, it would be very unfair to blame the judges, in my humble view. Because the process of auctioning is really auctioning a car for the best price.
And when na auctioneer na see blame na nasa den. Say ye can based on one some okay and so auctioneer no some intina na me reference be say me na me kura phone no na me say na me ton me nim ne bo and na me use kakra na me say me ton. Intina value a me de be ma phone no wo ton de what did you make rank
in the auctioning process there are different routes. So I'm having a closed bid. Yeah, cause we be fine envelope I see limbra. Near what time we are better tiano. There ne more from near the amano. Ebi a nyina ebe share or hobby. Near can we say back we see me nu crying. There ne more was from near the amano. Ebi those are all process of the bidding. Are those legitimate process? Absolutely. Are they necessarily right as a policy principle? Just a minute. Are they necessarily right as a policy principle? Maybe we would say car way, you can even set a reserve price. No one can say reserve price, car way, yento and OBM below 100,000 or not. Those are all left to the processes. What I am saying is that the judicial service or the judges who partook in the bidding process, could they even have known that approval from Ministry of Finance was not obtained? Maybe out of their personal due diligence, maybe. But you cannot fault them for that process. The first question I ask is there an irregularity? Absolutely. There is an irregularity. Because a law says go to Ministry of Finance, get approval before. That approval, does it exist? The fact from Auditor General says no. So is there an irregularity? Absolutely, there is an irregularity. But does that amount to culpability of the judges? I don't think so.
You don't think so? Now, yeah, share. No, but one can me passion. One can so me boss. One can so share. I did be bo. Say like I say, also a sealed bid, you know. Na say young fan say Toyota Land Cruiser. Ye register no 2017. Young fan say a sealed bidder. Na say what the 56,000 Ghana cedis cost say open so the Toyota Land Cruiser registered in 2017. Also,
if there is no reserve price, say I can say this is the floor.
Okay.
Again, I would add to the fact and say I don't know the condition of the car. I don't know the state of the car. Again, Agya say I'm being a lawyer, but I don't know the state of the car. And to presume say that
but you've been a lawyer on this topic that we accept.
Oh no.
You travel legally, but you've not. You know. He's traveling. Let me be a judge here for today.
Hey.
Okay.
Let me be a judge. Let me judge. Be the observer. He's coming from the factual base of market. You have come from a market, a lawyer, a legal base. But I will tell you that.
No, you see,
we must compare the two.
The point I am making is even the market or whatever base. We don't. I don't know. I do not know the state of the car. I do not know the valuation of the car. So you see, without that, knowing that, how do we conclude, for example, these valuations are wrong? Assuming even they are wrong, and granted, if even they are wrong, the real question to be asked is, if this bid went through a public process, if it was supposed to be open to everybody and people bidded and people did not get, I am all people in judicial service, and these were the highest bids. Again, I've worked in a place where people have bought cars, say similar at prices which are far lower than market prices. That is I'm not saying it's right.
And they're norm.
I'm not, you see, in the normative nature of it, is not even arguing say it is right. What I am saying is that if as a public we think that the policy of it is wrong, let us change the law. Okay. Let us argue to the policy nature of it. Okay. But in terms of what they've done and we going after the judges, I don't think is the right thing. But more importantly, I think that the judicial service, judges, year 19. The judicial system starts from magistrate all the way to Supreme Court. Say the Supreme Court, judge is saying that so. And so, yes, if even assuming without granting, say if even this is wrong, the question to brush all the judiciary and all the judges will be very unfortunate because what you realize is that from magistrate all the way, we're talking about hundreds of judges. And this is in no way or one. Then we go back to our NAS. The NAS video, in as much as it pointed to some judges, it also pointed to some judges as an example. Into the American, they say, Sebi, Sabakunya, Yankasa Bakunya. We shouldn't, because if we diffuse the institution, all of us.
Becca saying, and also do baby say, and Katabako, and I send quite. See, obedient message be about Nayan, or say, the auction was done in connection with all the laws. It was legitimate, just that the Ministry of Finance didn't approve it.
That's not just.
And see, as didn't approve it. It's judges in a fault. Say BB it is an emra. And I do say Vasco or say it is not a Kufado nor Baumia who are the causes of this hardship. The hardship is a COVID impact in the world. You brother, that's it. I don't know. I'm saying you know something? Someone came to me for a loan to eat. Hey, when he came, I was complaining about the money paid to finance ministry. He came fighting me because he's an MPP. After he still want the money from me. That okay. Yes, I will no kopabusia. Ada to aduan adi. And on the paraka say, hey, na finance ministry pa mutu ko tia ma 1.1 million Ghana cedis man crofobia. You know say hey, I na muko ko tia no jaja kan na fan ko say owi na still na no san pabusia no. Enti no o say on be hwe di na msa this kan man so de age na ko didi. Opa Joseph me da se pass wo man aduan adi wate. Until we close our eyes and mind and argue because of politics, but not because of Ghana. And no, a BBS if you can say, hey, yeah, be 1 minute.
Yeah,
sorry.
Agya Kwabena.
That one finance minister any kakra.
Yeah, finance minister. How na abeka?
1 minute.
So far as auction is concerned, clearance from finance minister is one of the most valid document anybody at all will request for. Before you even purchase anything that belongs to the state. And a whole judge, you see, as Neo can say, just that finance ministry didn't give them clearance. Then what it means is that all the processes that they did was even invalid.
That's true. That's void.
Yes, until you get that clearance
from the Ministry of
Finance Ministry, you have not even been given the go ahead to even what do you call
sell it?
Sell it.
That's true.
So if someone tell me the judges didn't know, they went through the process normal and they were given, it is not true. The judges are equally.
It is a finance ministry approval and a year stamp. It is
stamp and
stamp. Me at
the first question, the first document is so bizarre. And some amount to talk as I was a document wrong. Judge back or Lankus about not to Salum back or Lankus about not to Salum. And yes, if you are a mark of tobacco randomly. And I can't competitive bidding any sole sourcing. This was just a complete sole sourcing. And most corrupt practices go through this sole sourcing procedures.
Okay.
So I believe the judges are equally complicit. They know exactly what they were doing, and they must return these cars, brand new ones, not just this old ones.
Brand new one. That's why I'm talking brand new. No, I can't find brand new.
And I want a legality.
Okay. I this has some no. Me that's it. I bra.
Jacob bra meraho. Meraho pa. Na niama bi apiem wa legitimacy say one kwan so say sa niama we aban mra man kasa na ye say legitimacy o say omoye we de maka mate legal process say e fa mra kwan so minya be ma aflage wa fa assembly ato say na say nkrata bi ma sa ade we koso sa nkrata na yanje enye honko a special prosecutor okofa sa la bianca ade o se ewo mra kwan bu se legitimacy se GR betimi amasa akwanya no enso na ya timra ba ko se na da biankafo na nka entro krata asa wo mu pesa ade no na kobra ne mo 1 million Ghana cedis enti sa legal process no eno so yebu so enti wo de yenko yenim public view se e fa bra kwan so ana ma amfa bra kwan so me ma dwene ultimi sa da enti na perception index a CDD ye no ehia pa no se sumpa e de law no ato ho mate me mate enso me mfa da o madam for maka che no TV so UTV mo twa me ni me se sumpa ene legitimacy ni legal process o maka no ekotwe esie ewie ona major frequency ubu me komo chia me kon o me se menye ntumu da ensa se o ka no se ye niane enim Land Cruiser ye hu bo ana da so se mi nto Land Cruiser na minim Land Cruiser bo kra kwa 56,000
1 year old
Krobia so ani o ma hwe ewiase aye we Krobia ni ho ye Land Cruiser ye beton less than no go yakoba mamla pepacho fa car edimu less kra ni bonye din kra o list we so
9,000
ultimi entono 50,000 car za list na paper no kra na oboboye no car ewo mu ayekitwa kra wo mu no ultimi entono
Corolla
na ewo mu no akwala na ewo mu kra po no ultimi ahibi o moto me say ultimi entono 50,000 ewo miracle so
moto baby no
unim ye wonkof utwa kwan yi mu a omo mu di car unja ewo tesa no kwan yi so yi ko ho na ko boss aka no ebo omo yada enso ye nwi financial cost to the state sa sika na papa no boss esi ano megufuo ne se sa eniamo ya omo ye ni nyina no e magana sika sem eso te na aya fo na ye ko bobu sia omo no omo so mutie nkrofo na omo se komode omo no on ka Land Cruiser won asem e woni bibi e mini abrante bi di nkita won ye tax nsem yi no o se Maersk line omo container kese egu ship mu ba Ghana no omo manager e wo UK United Kingdom amanone no ono oyusi Maurice ena UK prime minister mu an otena tire mu ena mo te ha eyusi Land Cruiser nyame be hire nyina last one no yen review and correct it se ohwe na waju mu se pa se Land Cruiser ye beton ama na opin a wote akonya mu di asem de bia na se phone we yesi ye beton ama 1 CD na wo de otimi to 1 CD e ka kire mi se na e fa mara kwan so a e de yenko yenim
okay
ma mi ncha to arewa sem bi so a kakra mi nya be ma bi e friend bismakodai a ye nungwa ohene chief king odai ne nephew wato from kakra ti bi akra yi ase na me mo nyina ya akọ sa na ya kan
ni nyina
ya na so me mamo so nyina ya akọ
ya de ti
mama ya akọ
sense de ti
o te wa o ton Land Cruiser o ton la u e ja ko ba me say offer bobo no say
56,000
Land Cruiser you see how many years
1 year and 2 years
le ko dem you see 2 years ah
ba ko
Land Cruiser you see amanoni eba you see best 8 years ye o ko to a e o Ghana ha na importing we say duty e da so ya duty e da ko ba fa ka ba ko Land Cruiser ba ko say
duty
se eba Ghana ni duty ya he that no
200,000
ye you see enu crop you see more than 5 years enye 1 year o nia amanoni de ye you see 5 years duty e da so ya he duty that so nya car no na make o offer tie me say duty that so ya he
okay maybe sir intelligent no aka che
on be sa be ka kire o ha o ko be bia me say eno no over 200,000 de mamente so ma say eno ye 100,000 into duty that Land Cruiser so the price of the whole Land Cruiser obi using 1 year Ghana na o say wo be di atum de na so ma ya akọ
me say me da se papa ya 30 seconds na ye bre na ye na ye ko
de make am na kusin say mate de minu anmo ka no make am na kusin say Ghana nyama bebre chia and ye nyina no e wo say ye busa ye ho say kwan ben ye be fa so ye betene ye man no afoforo be ye omoman Ghana for be ye Ghana seni etie bia no yen ya na ye becheche oman no ye susu say emra no eye bibia as important as the law is it takes a lot more it takes sociology it takes the economics and if you're watching who here as much as the politician we voted for, your productivity, Juma don't say what you're thinking, the things you're challenging. Let's keep on challenging it. Sebi because asemko quarter judges 7, 4 beja to 3 nyintu. Until no one is saying say ye nyina ya dwen koba. So we can disagree, but jai na me kama jai na me nipa 7, 4 nipa 4 beja to nipa 3 nyintu. But always the motive should be Ghana. We should always be driven by the best interest of the country. And if we all do that, I think
Monday, January, any African tax forum, tax forum, Mervyn Pig. Diabra, Nigeria, they come with tobacco tax. Say, in fact, tax, Kessian to tobacco, Tawa,
so.
And no one of my NCDs. COVID the buy, Cofodrona or woo, no more Cofa, more underlying disease outside of my pain. It is that forum Yakubi Nigeria.
Okay, Mati.
African United
not may that say FK Frimpong or say Agya, please, I want to buy these auction cars. Please give me their contact. It is a good car.
The almost on 9,000 for me case car Mr.
Now we can't
even 30,000 Mr.
Me that say
9,000 Mr.
30,000
me no me be say me che musika Mr. me dia brepa ya bro na me
but it's almost share
mo midin me do me prapo estate Mr. Nyamini me kan okre adani bema nkrani bema Mr. mo me turn 30,000
instead of 7,000 me that say what the 23,000 asoso money adwuma me that's papa na napoku agema us now we can't even make an estimate cable prices buburja always there our customer think we are stealing them. They should think for future reference, not politics. Nema boy koso ne de poku agema edu ba bia na me suma mo pa consumer so suma me ho esan say ene ubekọ no ne bo no nko wo kira ne bo no nko ha adwene something need to be done enye kasa no dodo we want action and kasa no doso say na kwakwa say ye beji 2 minutes we want the power na hia yen but ye be ye betumi siesie oman no na ya adwene firi so nti be wi ase no ye sabeka 2 minutes nso de be ma ye amatemamuni ho beto no ye tumi nye ye sabeka 2 minutes be wi no na na ma giegu and the dollar is about 10 cedis. We should be thinking about those things. What are we doing? Then ye de aboa na tumi ahwe ne abre na se ye kwaya ye hwe go de ye tu nyina no ne nyina de kwa ma no ne China fo betu ko mo na mo se ahoho ne betu ahoho ne betu ska no munya mo fantena Ghana ha omo de ko. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And you know madam asia no pe wate na nyakopo nhira musa mo de mo mena che ye Jeffrey Kabute Okansi awuche ye executive director Revenue Mobilization Africa the dash so buy on ko gene sika wo airport machine no so benden ya so mpan so lecture or financial analyst no so na wo chedua kwanta hene de hye kronkro no nana boache tromo ne din ya nana boache tromo ne din
nana nyankwada
ha ne din no nana boache tromo ha dua kwanta hene na fe Azubila Emmanuel Abdul Salam, Executive Secretary, Anchoring Democracy Advocacy Movement Ghana. Wanonso eba no permission bi de Kwabena. And him for pona na ho Popu and cameraman and producers here Prince Obimpe Okito and miemi asoma mu hu ye bebre no and Randy and so ho and Monka land they we say insurance wo hobby and Isaac and so wo ho and menso me wo ho and wo so hwan fatin so na penti ye nimu ma yen and menso me wo ho and so wo ho e da mo nyina se ma mo ne hwe adomdom ye be san hye fie a eye ne dose ko chinchin ni nyina so san se ye se eye ohi ye ka eye nkugya kasa na dose mama action enye dwuma ene ye hwehwe good morning.